My brothers and sisters, the problems we face are real, but so are the solutions. We can rebuild our economy, we can create jobs, we can restore faith in governance, but we must commit to the hard work of change. You were not appointed to occupy space. You were appointed to solve problems. Let me remind you of the social contract we have entered into. The Ghanaian people expect us to deliver, and we must not with excuses, but with results. I've said before and I repeat now, this is the legacy term of my presidency. I intend to make it count. I intend for it to matter. And I expect that every member of this administration will do the same. We must work with a sense of urgency, and President Jonathan spoke about the 4-year term. Our young people are tired of waiting interminably. Our farmers, our workers, our entrepreneurs, especially our women and youth, want to see policies that work for them. They want fairness, they want opportunity, they want to live in dignity and prosperity. Indeed, they are not asking for handouts. They're asking to be given a fair shot. And let's give them just that. The task before us requires leadership that is empathetic, that is disciplined and accountable, leadership that is not defined by titles, but by service, that is not defined by slogans, but by substance. And so I issue this challenge to each of you to lead your sectors with vision and integrity, to champion innovation, make decisions based on facts and data and not on guesswork. Spend public funds wisely and judiciously. Reject opulence. And never forget, your first duty is to the people of Ghana and not to your own political survival, not to the applause you will get, and not to your personal gain. I want each of you to leave this retreat with a clarity of purpose and with the humility to keep learning. This job is not about knowing it all. It is about listening. For example, I'll stay true to the values. And please remember, when any of us fall short, I will not hesitate to act. I didn't think that was what you would clap for. Let us leave here with renewed determination. Let us work not for applause, but for results. Let us lead with honor, and let us remember always that the true measure of our success will be the lives we touch and the legacy we leave behind. And finally, let me remind us all that the destiny of our party and our future success depends on the legacy that this current administration will establish. And so we must give it our all. We must work together to make our party's future successful. I therefore have the privilege and honor to declare this executive leadership program duly open. My brothers and sisters, the problems we face are real, but so are the solutions. We can rebuild our economy, we can create jobs, we can restore faith in governance, but we must commit to the hard work of change. You were not appointed to occupy space. You were appointed to solve problems. Let me remind you of the social contract we have entered into. The Ghanaian people expect us to deliver, and we must not with excuses, but with results. I've said before and I repeat now, this is the legacy term of my presidency. I intend to make it count. I intend for it to matter. And I expect that every member of this administration will do the same. We must work with a sense of urgency, and President Jonathan spoke about the 4-year term. Our young people are tired of waiting interminably. Our farmers, our workers, our entrepreneurs, especially our women and youth, want to see policies that work for them. They want fairness, they want opportunity, they want to live in dignity and prosperity. Indeed, they are not asking for handouts. They're asking to be given a fair shot, and let's give them just that. The task before us requires leadership that is empathetic, that is disciplined and accountable, leadership that is not defined by titles, but by service, that is not defined by slogans, but by substance. And so I issue this challenge to each of you to lead your sectors with vision and integrity, to champion innovation, make decisions based on facts and data and not on guesswork, spend public funds wisely and judiciously, reject opulence, and never forget your first duty is to the people of Ghana and not to your own political survival, not to the applause you will get, and not to your personal gain. I want each of you to leave this retreat with a clarity of purpose and with the humility to keep learning. This job is not about knowing it all. It is about listening. Example, I'll stay true to the values. And please remember, when any of us fall short, I will not hesitate to act. I didn't think that was what you would clap for. Let us leave here with renewed determination. Let us work not for applause, but for results. Let us lead with honor, and let us remember always that the true measure of our success will be the lives we touch and the legacy we leave behind. And finally, let me remind us all that the destiny of our party and our future success depends on the legacy that this current administration will establish. And so we must give it our all. We must work together to make our party's future successful. I therefore have the privilege and honor to declare this executive leadership program duly open. My brothers and sisters, the problems we face are real, but so are the solutions. We can rebuild our economy, we can create jobs, we can restore faith in governance, but we must commit to the hard work of change. You were not appointed to occupy space. You were appointed to solve problems. Let me remind you of the social contract we have entered into. The Ghanaian people expect us to deliver, and we must not with excuses, but with results. I've said before and I repeat now, this is the legacy term of my presidency. I intend to make it count. I intend for it to matter. And I expect that every member of this administration will do the same. We must work with a sense of urgency, and President Jonathan spoke about the 4-year term. Our young people are tired of waiting interminably. Our farmers, our workers, our entrepreneurs, especially our women and youth, want to see policies that work for them. They want fairness, they want opportunity, they want to live in dignity and prosperity. Indeed, they are not asking for handouts. They're asking to be given a fair shot. And let's give them just that. The task before us requires leadership that is empathetic, that is disciplined and accountable, leadership that is not defined by titles, but by service, that is not defined by slogans, but by substance. And so I issue this challenge to each of you to lead your sectors with vision and integrity, to champion innovation, make decisions based on facts and data and not on guesswork, spend public funds wisely and judiciously, reject opulence, and never forget your first duty is to the people of Ghana and not to your own political survival, not to the applause you will get, and not to your personal gain. I want each of you to leave this retreat with a clarity of purpose and with the humility to keep learning. This job is not about knowing it all. It is about listening. Example, I'll stay true to the values. And please remember, when any of us fall short, I will not hesitate to act. I didn't think that was what you would clap for. Let us leave here with renewed determination. Let us work not for applause, but for results. Let us lead with honor, and let us remember always that the true measure of our success will be the lives we touch and the legacy we leave behind. And finally, let me remind us all that the destiny of our party and our future success depends on the legacy that this current administration will establish. And so we must give it our all. We must work together to make our party's future successful. It's understandable. I therefore have the privilege and honor to declare this executive leadership program duly open. My brothers and sisters, the problems we face are real, but so are the solutions. We can rebuild our economy, we can create jobs, we can restore faith in governance, but we must commit to the hard work of change. You were not appointed to occupy space. You were appointed to solve problems. Let me remind you of the social contract we have entered into. The Ghanaian people expect us to deliver, and we must not with excuses, but with results. I've said before and I repeat now, this is the legacy term of my presidency. I intend to make it count. I intend for it to matter, and I expect that every member of this administration
According to Daily Graphic, not just say they've bought out Asuma Resources. Any papa my way more, sir, papa, no, I think that we've not celebrated him enough. A year engineers and planners quantity for penning. Metre Uvra Ibrahim Mahama. The number of people this man employs. And they send a watch them. So beboa a project in Ghana. Na Ghana yetimi afro adru amamu pompon so no. I think as a nation it can see a share that man. His name is Ibrahim Mahama. Me say na ya me no. I don't care if I meet him or whatever. Me can send it here. I think that man deserves certain accolades. I think that Ibrahim Mahama has not been celebrated enough. He deserves certain grand commendation. Ejuma. Honorable Ibrahim Mahama ayawo maimu. And you see, in terms of engineers and planners, any other subsidiaries, miura ewono. Baby aye touch makoma kesiye. Say obete yes obi ani from nowhere. Then Ibrahim Mahama semini. Obi anya adwuma ngusa papa ne botomu. Mr. Ibrahim Mahama. And look, he's not the only rich man in this country. We have so many rich men in this country. But why Ibrahim Mahama? Law for self, law for country, law for humanity. Eti mihuni say minini trim de but mihuni say Mr. Ibrahim Mahama ohunu emwa as duty call. As a service to mankind and service to God. I just say who say obi kidney failure. Sikani ho from nowhere. Ibrahim Mahama semini. Then he takes care of course ninyina. I just say who so be holy heart. Sikaya den ubewa Ibrahim Mahama semini. And Charlie, let's celebrate that man. Look, we are celebrating him not because sabi ya personity yekese. One celebrating no Ibrahim Mahama. Who celebrating no Ibrahim Mahama sabi ni American enko increase the fatness in his bank account. But you see a best in crime. Na mafoforo nso a weye sikafo asunya. Can you imagine if there were 10 Ibrahim Mahamas in this country? Can you imagine? No. Let's face it. Can you imagine? Say Ibrahim Mahama ye we ye mako 10. Wo de enya 16 region de enya bako. De bia me catch say me betena konya isu a as the spirit lead I speak. We man plan say me ka ho asem. But you see people like this I think spirit ni say ye mo baso. It is Mr. Ibrahim Mahama. I don't know you. I don't care if I know you. Whether we meet or not, it doesn't matter. But I want to use this medium to encourage you, sir. For all you know, what one crofo be required the bonnie pioka. But please, for the sake of our country, kosuana yejuma. Now, at least for the first time in our country, yetimi nya Ghana nia. Yeba ye proper rock mining. Ye Ghana ni dia. I mean, we should be happy. The bia brofuiba na omaba be ye mining number Jessica number the Ghana na you see scan to go and build their countries and we are still poor people. In the 1800s I chance here too good. Ewo Boase. Look at Boase. It's a hanging city. It's a shame. These are some of the things that otu da ko mintimin katamani wo. For love for country mintimin katamani wo. Eti ubanze scanwa abrofono our minds why ombetuno na ya the different countries. But at least we have engineers and planners and ne oma take over and check Ghana benya the full potential of our resources, especially gold. So I mean wherever you are, Mr. Ibrahim, we celebrate you today and we encourage you to do what you're doing. Kwame, okay. I'm saying I'm paying for some, but over to me the phone no at one more. I'm saying people are asking about the point is that abanati fuel so. Send you your two fuel no abanati so. You see 2 case studies over Facebook. I had the gold the ato. So see I turn 12 cities 98. Over can send 13 plus. You see about 12 cities 98. That is the super, which is normal petrol. Diesel 13 cities 85 pesos. and a doctor mo de na wase no and a V power ne microphone and the doctor mo cause man V power ye de ba ko no super ye di mo nti mesra mo in as much as enima be bro mo aban ne ye so otua fees so okwo galamsey so or try say o me microphone adwuma still aban ne dwene ho say fuel obet so and you know say in simple that say kwame in the build up to Christmas see ekodi bronya na city etimi eba from ensida me mom there not when me look I ye nyina yesu ade say simple na bia it's been a very long time say see I city na say 10 say is it 10-7 city na perform because ye nim say edu bronya say a friend and for ebesesa a lot of cities they are cut a few dollars no they are kra niam ba so usually at the threshold of every Christmas, especially 3 months towards Christmas, any adverse effect on the currency. It's you could bring a pet, not inflation, rising. You could bring a pet, I mean, you see, not a papi, not dollar needs not brand it, not see the no coffin. But for the first time in a very long while, if not for the first time, under the leadership of John Dramani Mahama, under the leadership of Ura Tofosen, under the leadership of the Bank of Ghana Governor Ure Siama, and with the able support from Sami Jenfi in charge of Gold Board, we can confidently say Sidino is appreciating against dollar even in this dry moment of Christmas. Look, onipaya dia, what's I? Eti otuda kumem betra no moa. The only times, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be who say bia me bo biachi is because it was only pakono was sorry adequate. I am never against anybody. Me time bia. President Mahama. Menya sure so be maka so odone say me. Very well. You may have gone into the hinterlands or hamlet or whatever. But the love I have for that president is better say I tell him the truth. Look, if you say you love President Mahama and then the ministers na sabi omo chiao baby na wan kan chiro mo a obua ona wom scan up you want to be their praise singers ekoye fine sana na kufa do ye ekoye fine and no more position menye sure send this I ready person ko position enti no kura bi e beboa na aban we atena se ache because of the good job they are doing for us etwase e kasa no kura ne kira ban and otuda I am one person who want to lead that crusade. There are a lot of journalists are almost because some appointment. Anya kasa na ema unya appointment too. Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa, and especially President Mahama, or call 80th session of the United Nations Assembly. Not your catcher brofo no. I didn't see na US4 anchor say not you know kind into they will not lift the ban. And then okay kasa anyway yeah. Say friend coincidence or whatever, and let's say 3 man ban is lifted that Ghanaian can have a multiple visa to US. Now let's see the daily exchange rate. Monday, 20th October 2025. And then auto US dollar. Yeah, they are to Facebook. 10.69. 10 cedis 69 pesos. Anna, auto 10 cedis 70 pesos plus. Great Britain. One pound sterling, no. What 14 cedis 34. And a what 14 cedis 36. Now fe osha euros wa. What 12 cedis 48 pesos. What 12 cedis 49. So it's obvious to say, even at the threshold of Christmas, a dumb by a lot of importation, you know. Yetimi Accra, there has been some injection of financial integrity into the system. Amen. You see kasem no. Sebi miribi etwam na atop no. Ejina brane. Look at the inflation. Since when? An inflation you record a single digit statistics. Since when? Na benya single digit cry. And yet this time cry you could bring you kra niema. Me try say it's not about NDC, it's not about MPP. In America. The president is doing well. Let's encourage him to do more for us. Finance Minister Ato Forcing is forcing. Let's encourage him to do more for us. Honorable you can say Sami Jenfi. In a space of how many? If not 9 months. Or no 8 months. You form a gold board. Can you imagine, say, gold board from small scale mining at $8 billion? Do you know what $1 billion is? I'm talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, $8 billion. W, and you know your far a pampine. I call them and so copper IMF, just all my $3 billion. Signing a better money $8 billion within a space of 9 months. Thanks to Sami Jemfi, thanks to President Mahama, thanks to Ato Forsen, thanks to Honorable Esiama, any minister Bia Okahon, and a Penny Bia Okahon. You could be a technical advisor, and to say you may not see them directly, but a Juma mo yet Samarita Brew. Chale, kudos to all of you guys. Samoye say, O to da ku ani je, no to da ku betina nkonya bunso a, onyan sempaka. But I maintain, ladies and gentlemen, adie bia enkoso yi a ebegu Mahama abaye ni mase. I'll point it out. Men train Emma by win konko she jemu ansa. No maka se me ho yanka. Otherwise, I will not be called that voice for the voiceless. Makani say no Kwame. And I pray that God gives me that humility to do these explanations. I pray. Say God give me that humility to do these explanations. But you know more about Facebook and Bacho ubetimi ashe amai na unso watch the wadwini. Me come say baby Commander Bohan will be you trying to critique. And as I make a Kwame, me pese a tear for who because me no a tear for no me babusia for. To me person me di bibia besio. Me ne Commander I this discussion and Sakra na me de ba and it's very important say I put it on there. Now and you may be back just settle the same year for since here at time. Oh, since here at time. Now, Kwame, there's this tape where me person ye kai ho. Ye be kai a year Greater Accra Regional Minister, Mami Lindo Kulu, made a certain promise. And that promise, me person Ghana 40. Bi we are menya nyina so actually chiri. But Abraham mutie mon kai say me yen century ni. But mutie. Mon kai say me yeden me yen century ni. Na wo yen century a ade ba ko a ethically etwa se ukuram no kredie men ka se wo part na wo so eti se bibibi nkoyi a obeka wano atum no mo yes I ha part. Yes, I love John Mahama. Yes, I voted for NDC 2028 I'll still vote for NDC. But the truth is that se bibibi nkoyi a I'll be a bad journalist if I keep quiet. Eti se betre ka se fidie so point it out my ministers. Now, in some cases, yama ultimatum. It's not as if we hate the ministers. Kwame, you double tape no, but Maminka say, Tamwa, honorable minister, Esha say FX some of the street lights. Me otu Darko betena afidie we so ebona baso. Ajinia wan follow me. Ajinia wenti. So I'll come and I'll respond to Nyaminia Samuel Hunto. Eka or they are to the page now or they are to other place. Say the beya nkrofo be hunu say me ne ka ebom say ne anom no eso say ne tete yentem. Enye bibi na mema me nimi nua ko no. Dabi. We all set the record straight with the truth. Me ba cho fatu mame. Ye tie ne honorable minister kan. Ayi Mr. for honorable minister asem no.
In office, all these things should be fixed.
Within
50 days in office.
All the street lights
yes,
in Accra.
Not even all, but we'll make sure that majority, at least 70% of it, should be fixed.
All right.
I mean, the issue about street hawkers has come to your attention, where the street hawkers now are taking major part of the roads, contributing to traffic on the street. Are we going to see the radical driving away of street hawkers as we've seen under previous ministers?
Yes, in fact, I said it earlier that we are going to enforce the law. So we are going to use the task force of the MMDAs and the security services to do that.
Will you sustain this?
Oh,
We've
yes.
seen in previous occasions they do it once, twice, and they come back.
We will sustain it, my dear. We will sustain it.
Honorable. Let's talk about floods. Let's talk about floods. Flooding has been a major challenge.
Please.
The question is about flood issues every year in Accra. How are you going to address that?
Thank you so much. The last time I granted an interview, I said there's an ongoing project we started in 20 in office. All these things should be fixed.
Within
50 days in office.
all the street lights
Yes,
in
not,
Accra.
not even all, but we'll make sure that majority, at least 70% of it should be fixed in office. All these things should be fixed.
Within
50 days in office.
all the street lights
Yes,
in Accra.
not even all, but we'll make sure that majority, at least 70% of it should be fixed in office. All these things should be fixed.
Within
50 days in office.
all the street lights
Yes,
in
not,
Accra.
not even all, but we'll make sure that majority, at least 70% of it should be fixed.
I mean, the issue about street hawkers has come to your attention, where the street
In office, all these things should be fixed.
Within
50 days in office.
all the street lights
Yes,
in
not,
Accra.
not even all, but we'll make sure that majority, at least 70% of it should be fixed. In office, all these things should be fixed.
Within
50 days in office.
And I must say, you should understand what governance is about. Governance is not about NDC or MPP alone. It's about the people. It is a mere century. Now I am pressing home such a sensitive and important thing like street lighter. Maminka, because me NDC ni. Maminka, because me tuma mahama. No, please. Please. I was just holding a yeye mame to accountability, to her own words. And like I said, Mami mean tiny that or me mami and kamepe. Oh, me fian kamepe. Kameka say me will access to the regional minister. So I will not hate her for anything. But me journalist I'm friend for any man san makasa. No. Me, I'm not that kind of journalist. Me cano, me the consequence. Me say mami tie bi ono so baka na dwen ho. No problem. Say ba say mami the opportunity to express herself. We give her the opportunity. Nation building goes on. But say bia I go look face say somebody be minister, so I go shy munya sense no. Because I'm a court in the first place. I'm a president, nunya opportunity to lead me. More appointing minister of state. Ladies and gentlemen, Obian fan constitution ko article 1 + 1. Was it to me dear ye di bu man no e from man for no ho en free Jomahama ho. To me dear ye di bu man en free Dr. Bamia ho, en free Kufuor ho, en free Fly Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings ho. In fact, en free Kwame Nkrumah ho. It comes from the people. We are the people. Ye to me. And ye pone ho bi ma ye wura. Ana ye wura so pone ho bi ma minister. By extension, ye DC, MC, inter alia. Ladies and gentlemen, are you saying, say bibi nkosu ya, ye ntimi nkasa? Yes, bibi nkosu ya ye ntimi nkasa na. Are you saying, say, me ntimi hold minister? And look, mu tie me, samuna mkurumu a, mibisa wo. Kurumu te say. Na no to that who be the last person of better by way, because na no to that who loves this government. But in the interest of Ghana, this time Papa John Dramani Mahama failing tea. Baby enko ye no, ma point out. In fact, time we buy we back power na me beka say. Adwuma me fa to me ho say na no to da ko a, me pese me papa na buy be failing say. Bibi enko ye be I'll point it out so that they correct it. That is the job. In fact, me send a message even to the chief of staff. Wow, what Chief Julius Debra na be a friend bi sado. There have been times I yet me better say na share there phone lines. Yes, say mo aban na baso. Samo kaya bibia enye waban no bia no o de momo nka then na ya connecting crowd from Jubilee House omuntie they should note down because the more they fix it the more they get proper popularity before the people the more they stay in governance forever eti samimi kama no tum na me yodum na say NDC foko luzu elections e bay ne say bia me point out say me patro aha mo hwe ha yie me patro de na ye look it's better you hate me. For the truth I tell you now, that will make you feel uncomfortable, but will help you in the long run, than to love me for calling me a praise singer. For the lies that will make you feel good, but will hurt you in the long run. Okay. Yabeye show. Anna Samuel Hunto. At a point in time, a buy. And the me raising this issue, somebody might think say so. But me raise it because our integrity as a station is involved. Eti me raise this issue. Na me raise a me nyoba eti obi bia me ne no enya enkitahudie sei no ogusu ye me nua. So no frame me nua, me ni problem. Ba me de ogusu eminia. In fact, mama han me wi say me beko. Me ba hanum say me be chirechire nsem na Ghana fo. Mo ankasa mo njaage sa mafomo a. Na mafomo so a Accra100.5FM. Mo come again enter mo Facebook na me nkan ma mo because nyansa eni ba ko fotire. Wisdom and knowledge is like a baobab tree. No one man's hands can embrace it alone. 80. As part of our editorial, didn't say, who say there are some social issues at what Ghana, a chassis account asem. Now, the more the government is critical of, the more they be projecting that government. And one of those social issues, in Kranya, and the capital cities are Ayesu. Semi try. Mo am driving. Samuna mon kran krumwa. But your street light a year jumana. When you end this is because see what we forget quickly is that onim NDC onim MPP. When you don't have enough light on the road, no accidents here. Whoever is in that car can die. Many accident da. So I understand some of these things. Ebia no be enya kwenshada into the American here. But when your accident serious, to send you many trailer Asia, you know. Now people thought you were even dead. People will take it serious. May I fix this street lighter away a highway so. That you have I even called for too much if I give the minister Greater Accra 2 weeks ultimatum, especially when on the 3rd of February on almost 50 days of the fixing street light as a journalist. What is my use if not to give ultimatum for them to sit and work well? What is my use? 80 as part of editorial. Aname a year achenkwa appear. Udia sempa apumasu mensa. Ye kasa. And samutie and komonwa. There's no who be can say, Minister, enye jumabia. Obian kasa semno. We had a particular focus. And that focus, achimota. Ebacho fa achimota video netu sumai. Na senya apia mukotwa sa video no senya hon mai sum no. Se huntom se yenya ne sa meja ne sa. Ba me di se so obi wo hɔ no dia wo man no nyansa beba fie because me sure say Accra forest no wo dia me yankum obi wo hɔ no ne wo tena ye be fix street light o to da ko say as leadership yentwe ma boni nsi ansa ne apene pumasi bre ma hunu boni ye betime si wo tena yet yempe hu pumasi bre ne okay come to Facebook abusuafo enen common ye di come to Facebook. I saw some poster Hunter post and I was sad. So we discuss here as brothers. I thought it has ended. But for you to take it a step further, I don't understand. I don't understand. Because we all come and see. What brother here? It me part of see way. Greater Accra Regional Minister ya me here current ya make awesome. Where you Achimota run about now. A big village, you know, Accra no. Accra forest. Say a big ba abelenke hono. Bako ko La Paz. And a kwana bako so ko Achimota down. Yes, St. John's. And a bako so ko Accra mo. Hotel can say na one design. Hotel be before Accra mo. Fiesta Royal Hotel. And a bako so ba 37. Hono mo saying ngurem hono mo ni. And we have thieves. I almost say ngurem. 80 say me charge as a journalist. Let me say, Madam Minister. And Madam Minister, we did not come here to you see the job I am doing. Mommy and tears here. When we are praising, we are praising. Obian the style of journalism. Me any man ko here, me need time for praises. But oh yeah, me praise you. But when I'm here, oh yeah, me praise you. Me di me here, me di we see you. I don't care about how much you be my mamia. Me di me here, me di we say. Because integrity is more important than any amount of money you can ever have. So meaning integrity and time wa galam say for so mama me car. Now mama me undisclosed amount of money because me ni car no and come back kwaje. But me train that home. I thought of tomorrow. Meaning say a year Ghana year otu da komi so me didibi. Me pa to come and look at it. It me from where. Me from where he say I am pointing out to and you man because say honorable minister no say within 50 days me fix this street light too. Minister ya bote no. It must say I should not hold minister into account because me had DCD. Because me dodge Mahama. Then I don't then any I hate them. Me say hey, what they kofa from police headquarters to circle. Me patrol street light here juma also. Kwa motorway ekwan so. Me patrol street light here juma also. Eti if a journalist should call on a minister and give a minister I think 2 weeks indoors and give a minister 2 weeks ultimatum, who doesn't need that audacity to give a minister ultimatum, then you don't understand governance. I'm sorry. Because the president is even living on the proxy of the people. Government or democracy is defined as a government of the people, by the people and for the people. Power emanates from the people. And Kwame, let me insist, say it here and now. Said that operation fix our street light on our major, especially in Greater Accra. I feel a mashas here. At least, me kwaswa ya kwesi better President Mahamanim. Na se yen nyina ye nam krenkrom. Na se capital city, bebia light ho no enye Mahamani e bebo na baso. Eti adenti de pese Ghana yesum. In a moment I see a project tourism. In a moment I see nya ye urada ni krefen saying. Oh, Bapa your boy Bibe. Oh, Black Star experience. Moment. And you see, Kwame. Government winning a flagship program, 24-hour economy. 24-hour economy, you soon. Then people want the president to fail. Then it means that you guys, you are wicked people. Because if no crane of the now send him over for the president to succeed, then you don't love the president, you hate him. Because I love him, I'll tell him the truth. Because ultimately kase yeba be 24-hour economy. Na obi ebia ahenmachi 12 afero no badwuma. No enyo obi anso na waka o. Can you imagine if only park no eya adwuma ewo anywhere close to Abelempi na so fa sa Achimota forest stretch no so a when is come for taxi and boat. How can a person walk? How can a person walk? And in this moment of 24-hour economy, that's a journalist call it on the regional minister or no make a promise. She was not under compulsion. She was not forced. She was not coerced. Out of her will, also within how many days? You better fixing the street light in Accra. Because there's no term. You're fixing it now. Muslim journalist in Misano. Please, I don't want to be a fully journalist. I want to be a journalist with conscience. They be a catch up say when I die, me and comfortable came in here and yet a dan do me see yet. Say me wua, me and comfortable came say me yabu and nipa here and yet car do me driving yet. When I die, and yen tadia who do me say yet, and I'm a person be the kime. Or being kind say me kasa was able to shape the focus of my country. When I die, let this words reflect my demise. And Kwame, me person me establish bibi na me nia hunto etiase say station bia one editorial policy. I think say or say me say want to me fa original TV. Look, I said that even station bia one editorial policy. Station wow. What do you behind here to Facebook is so then I'll go there. Or say 129 streets fixed with light in 50 days. And where you're within 50 days. And obi okay bia kai say you better na hanum ebo minister baso. But minister said that all the street light will be fixed. I know say I went to me nyina ategu. But baby to say Achimota forest, a delicate area. Baby to say Tema motorway already a depth trap there and Krufo motorway so. It is a Otuda Kube Bisa regional minister say Sebi say a honomo can home quadia or Bobo fix street lighter. And every cranny in a jumon. Bono edge 2 months of fixing tea. She's the person I will attend this to. It's a tram and Krufo motorway and Sane Akasa. Okay, me Pemahamasem, Menka motorway asem, my edin. Okay, me pema milindo klasem. It mean ka ho asem no ma yedin. Then people will die near their shema hama so by the nipa wu anase. I bet me fix street light keke. How difficult is it to fix street lights? They say Achimota ho ya making. How difficult is it? Obi a on fa Achimota ho no ebia on tiase. But how difficult is it to fix street light? Kwame, my main case station be on editorial policy. And I don't mean you had it wrong, bro. You had it wrong. Nia obetra ho ye no me ntimi me esa original TV. Kwa me kwa chemo de ombeso so muso de bia. Nia obetra no mo ye no. Hunto I'm sure some about original FM why you not allow me an inch to do that. And you are my brother, so I can tell you don't have shares in Accra FM. You are my brother, so I can tell you. So also kind of creature. Me so me kind of creature. Eti obuo bi a person me ba original TV am de ma no. Wo ba Accra FM any citizen show. We expect all this obuo no me man. Sebi unto you are not the host of the program. You are a guest. And you respect this. Ultimate na no maka say a newscasters ni nyina enim host no nim. Are there news for their news they don't know belittling their intelligence. Just say the whole station in enim hunton kwa enim. I mean how can you make such false statement? How can you disrespect a whole nation editorial policy like that? And in any case, time I have a conversation, bro. So time not even a for discussion. Then you entered, and I was angry with my producer. Say no one say guess, but better say I'm train my in-house. Look, all your guests, I respect the guests, but on to me mong remusa. Station bia. Say we went to my question hunto. Hunto, I want you to know. Say you want penny for a journey with you. Your leadership, they take care of us. It is a young better than Kunya Brunswa. People trust how respect I am of mine. And Hunter raises some issue regarding Charles McCarthy anyway. Let me clear that on. Me. Look, at the end of the day, Hunter kind of cratch, me kind of cratch. In the case of Charles McCarthy, any Kwajuebua, it on person just me to me for friend Kwajuebua. Say, me we are my friend. Me we cry myself Charles McCarthy. But you see, say yetra no na ye say obidin enye like ora huntopese emaye hunu dia. Then we should also understand say enye frivolous statement bia and we should allow it to pass. No. Kwamna bobi ansa betra manim. E ka say me some time back. Mr. Commander with you. Commander Trisine. Make us some time be me list over you didn't commander. Mr. List of man to us. Commander say, hey, Trisine. You understand? Sabi onumpa show no build the scene and also he give us that respect. And as I make and your commander doesn't make her. But me have discussed with him. Because just say, oh, Becca. You can call Kwamna Bubi and say and ask him. We have had a conversation about this. Okay? Mamintra and you know, say, one of the few people and stations that you're fighting this galamsey, Accra FM count. Me no can say, Kwame Kwa man craso. Also, Oko girl, Okasia say, Kwame a cop man craswaba. At least, as part of sending Nebeku galamsey, Uti. Anna, Charles, any Kojoba Hadam say, 9 was 4. Oh, that's a Kwame Kwaji minim. Me, Kwame, me money deal. Or no, Kwame, you. Ame, omu etie ni ebusuan for bibia yendwedwem na yemom bia hu forget it. Na Kwame, Charles ne ayi ba say. 9 moves for no. There's some video a ba ya encrophobi ekokoche some galamsey no me soldiers. I don't know the total number about 4 so. Am encrophono e guard excavators no for a long while. 9 moves for koya. Oma kwakoche encrophono say omo ya kronfo. Now they don't have the right. They were coming from an angle, say that shouldn't have been approached. And again, not Chinese phobia honum and Utian Komono, not just a sika exchange of hands because so. And I make say, I know the Yantimin Kase Ubi Jessica. Again, almost I can say machines now, the buy no from investigations no and Kamiako say, Omuchiano, Anna, Omuji Bibina, Omusandi machines in Samba, back to the winners. First day, Charles ne minia Kojuebua buy no. I gave them the platform. Mo follow that show no. Obi abeka na dwen abusuafo. Ana empanyifo say yen chair aso ni asem. And as part of the ethical principles of journalism, fair hearing ka honti. Yes, see any sadia. Yemma nine must for opportunity so much church romasem. Like today I'm saying say me nyaya me no honorable minister medin komo. Who's that me catch lo? So honorable minister medin komo. And when you're journalists for Ghana, that's what you should be doing. America is developed because they push their leaders. But when you have sycophant journalists and mining koso, me I don't want to be a journalist that swim in the pool of mediocrity. No, because of how much a minister will give me. What are you talking about? I am born great. You can take your money, minister. Oh, mommy, I have to take your money. Say we're going to me salary. Oh, no, what? But me, hear me. Me, mammy, come asem. Mame kamasam nye 1,000 amretozo. Mame kamasam. Me bibi yam se sia. Bibi yam se sia me kwa alaji se do agongo. He will give me. Me se kwa ask alaji. Kwame, me can wait da. Me can for the first time. Those times, me one man no be from. Oh, papa we dey me can one ma say me cash when nyam. Papa say ubehu na kakra begu me phone so. Papa me can one be fra how adwen, we dey ma me nyai. Me na me ka say. So the point, ladies and gentlemen, I'm making is say ahanom no aye wo no sebi with all due respect. Yenim dia anka konya kese we ya me yentirem. Who will be to say diawa? Do you know where this man has traversed in terms of journalism? Who will be saying na piety? Do you know where that man has traversed in terms of journalism? Who will be to say Wasim wa? Do you know Obi say Mr. Frank in terms of administration is any man? Do you know? So when guests come here and belittle us, Kwame Kwache will allow, but I won't allow. I won't allow. You cannot bring your editorial policy and impose it on Accra FM. This is not original TV or original FM. This is Accra FM, respectfully. Message Charles Bakati mo ebeka sansem ne more opportunity. And afi your friend denied them say these are the allegations that have been made against Naimus. Say ne man kura release mo no kura no. There was some exchange of hands. And I denied them so church the name. We have been fair. We have followed the principle to the latter. Yes, sir. Then Charles and my brother Kwajo San came say me some another platform. And I'm say bro, say me kasi me mama another platform wa. One musu ba kasi me mama another platform. So this is what we're going to do. Next week, you are alleged. The burden of proof is on the one that makes the allegation. Then I bring Naimus Omsutia. Then both of you will settle it here and now. Musi Debi. And yes, Adia, and yeah, Mumma, and yeah, Monkasa. You see, when you do that, Ebiana, you think that you are hurting me as a brother. But me sure say me Otuda Kuna me here, so you guys will not be happy. But Montia says, no man is indispensable. Minister Brofini correct there. Ya me person me say, so to da koka se ne we jaya Accra FM move on. No man is indispensable. Me ba cho mon check Brofini kra sa na ya kase maka Brofofo. Say correct. Indispensable say obi an hon mo betima kase uni hon mu a. Say sa na Brofini tie. Enti sa akra mo fan che me fra chim si no. Me kra maka indispensable Abrofo en litimi katwi. Na me ka tia say that is the explanations with Miriam Charles and yes sir Accra FM na say Charles Bakati mabiem and yes citizen show and yes Miriam Kwadwo Yebo mabiem but because say me ma platforms individual no say almost another one na ma allow nti and ekoba nsa but they are my brothers. I cannot force them say they should come. I can't and minim say Kwame so from Nebia omumaya for you know kra ebia na Kwame kran from ebi so anu from ama almost so deny. So that is it. Now let's come back to what Hunto was saying regarding the minister's position. Abusuafo. Me patro ye yo mayo. Na debia me kasa asem we kire mu say enya political party ne ye. Mamoma ya manyosem endi omenenim kan. I am one of the few journalists me Hunto kra onu aka o I declare me support Semeto Majomahama on air. Me the meduma to line because ne hona metwaba me nsuro maka metoma Majomahama so 2028 metwa mom. I just say omoye shenanigans. But say ne ekone de ekoye. But I know it's less Majomahama fuma mamenka. Then what kind of journalist I any munyi medie? I don't want to be that kind of journalist though. Say journalist pa ebia Mr. Bia me boss adia wo ye ebegu company. Na me yanhwe han na company nagu. Me nyina ye kofi na me mam ye no. Say grass on me miensa. Why the hell? Please. Unto, we are brothers, I do say. Nya kai bom say enuanom no. Eso say ne tuti yentem. Eti aya certain and what you are doing as a win inciting NDC4 against me. And look, bro. Omo eni me no me name. Enti lumba bonyum was say pimpim tanwa. And pimpim dog. In fact, if we are seeing people in Accra do we na we try out the to Facebook no. I'm on Facebook ni na your followers. But me so me travel from. Na me so fan go to me Facebook. Wo nya wan kra. Na si e per se ye ma a fair judgment. Ye program ni we no mo etie no ye be phone lines. That is the fair judgment because omo etie no they are calling from myriad places. Ye ni ba bi omo frefri. But utie nsem omo nyina kan ya. Not just a lot of them were in sync with what we are saying. And let me educate my people well, please. Obi Obeka also a citizen. Want me, my minister, be ultimatum. Or do to me from them. You can even give the president ultimatum. Whether or not the president or the minister would do, I don't know your mwasem, but you would have exercised your civic responsibility as a citizen of the land. Mama me yanka citizens in share. And my main case will be our Dodger Mahama Abambiano. And you may point it out, non correct it. And yes, sir, yeah, when you have power, guard it jealously. Now, lose power, and then your chamber won't to me. And then, me no can say, Mustafa Hamid, Ninsam, on account, and I could do 54. OSP. And then I'm quite another bay. I could do 54. I could do 54. 31.8 million Ghana cedis give to Awari. You see, where we are, when you are not in power, look, it is dangerous. It is idea over to me, I keep power forever. No, and no, that's all. That is why you need people like Darko to always put you in check. Now, why are your mind for no epe? Now, what's na bem watch it? A bem be obey na gonna say 1 year sutie obey su branch there no okofientem. The Kufado's government will fear because they didn't listen to Ghanaians. It got to a timer. Yet me catch there over a post mama a timetable. See for a timetable. Such disrespect, such arrogance. It got to a timer, Mr. President. It make us say I'm sorry. I'm not saying say Akufo-Addo went man ya adie baako mienu enya papa. Certainly President Biaba oye no betima ye. Me pacho te ase. Eti munu a musemo dojo mahama no. Mo ye mo mun ka no krenche no. Enka me akwa say ye mo ye do na ye ka no kre no. Na ye mo ba bedane ni pabonefo. No mo a eye no yodom prezino, Chese, who thought a case ring and say, Mammy criticizing minister, Mammy man or to betum. Says I see I Ghana will a man honorable Lindo Kulu and I say, yeah, the Ghana man wake and be. What are you talking about? What point are you making? Say, Mammy criticizing no. No, please. 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 We can't build a country like that. I beg you. We can't build a country like that. And again, Kwame, Saturday we check it. Obiant me kwajini payo la wabontimbe yusu platform we express it. And yami say yami mameka sasem. You go to a lot of stations. Oba topic in the pedal back and wasem. Citizen show. I'm an opportunity. Moba much from is free fee. Yama mo time. No ma can we and some about topic in so. You don't see all these things that the citizen show is doing. You don't see all these things the citizen show is doing for you. And Obi Obeka say platform we will hear be our boy. Obi Obeka say citizen show true kwamna bobi ansa. Such a formidable force of a journalist. Yeah, citizen Obi Obeka say we hear citizen show boy is the hottest in the country. Is the hottest in the country. What we hear? But say me tell kunyamna as Obi Obeka say any anka there's no parliament. And if there's parliament there shouldn't be any speaker. Now MPs no be any your pay. As part of my job as a presenter, as a journalist, is to moderate. It is a bit here. I have to come in. Me pacho na me can't say. Aka hunto say newscasters they didn't know. They didn't know. Yeah better na ma bomb ma Lindo Kulabaso. But you see kwame enya me ya. Time ya bomb ma Lindo Kulabaso no. Unso be anti anko kan kire no. You use a whole week. As I the Saturday, Ebo Mamia Basso said, was starting fixing street light. I'm a make me can't crane. I'm a who is it? I believe Panajo will baby. Me the car eh. And would you be anti and country mammy say, Mammy, go to the Kobo Abasso. But I brought to the could see a mobile can say, Mammy, fix it. Actually, what the honor mine. Me about 2 weeks or to mail to me. And no dear. Or to the comment. Microphone was near fixing street light. Now, a country that ain't mean fixing street light. Are we a serious country? I call Ghana a silly nation. But if you cannot fix your common street light, what kind of a nation are you? Ghana, you mean fixing traffic light. What kind of a nation are we? Or Maya, what make hospital? No, Obiago, not in the bad from Adamaya say and Penny. Are you not a silly country? And you say I shouldn't say that. Sabi penny phone him, Sabi, I couldn't talk. Yan penny phone to cry. Me won't cry and come here, say. Any politician, Oyaria, Jayareshawaha, and I will ban every politician, say, Obeko outside the country. That is the only way they will fix our hospital system. That is the only way. That's the only way. The Ghana for the Munya Yadia Munko, because only this can travel out of the country. But politician ni de o sika na ban no so abon ho ka no a fly ko UK wa fly ko France no a fly ko South Africa ya e say kra de bi ko Rwanda 1994 war essay kru no yetimi fly ko hono. What, look at what Mahama has done with University of Ghana Medical Center. Can you imagine if every region our Mahama's UGMC? Can you imagine if every region our the bank hospital Mahama moye? Can you imagine if every region our the maritime hospital? Can you imagine if every region our the rich hospital President Mahama ye? Can you imagine? Eti send you when ese ye kan send be ya aban no anim be nyam na aban na successful musima menka me pa cho enye ne ade bia obo waba so na pe wasemu muntie sa asem na emum nye oka no kura ne kire wo eti aye e bi kura minister tia o hunto de obo maba so on pese be kan asem honorable minister ye you free on mo reshafo a hunto do tere ba bi o and reshafo so de eba after 1 year eti no ye kan no kura send obi abetimi atena de to so no ya adwuma se enye u duty so minister me yahunu na ne any duty no because ukoka say we be fixing to the direct at you because I know say we have energy commission, your ministry of roads and highways, your this authority na society also na commission say that no authority about road safety. Yes, your road safety authority. Eti mom ya hunu ne na adwuma and kwame ne twama won say street light no so ya twa electricity bia enyinama hoodin bia kania bia beto bia no what twa street light it adding na twa street light and so street light ne adwuma. As a journalist I don't have a right to caution the government because it is my own government. No, please, then I'm not helping my own government. Okay. My entire Facebook for Sukakra. Albert Keoka say good afternoon. I think I'm not getting this comment here. We are static a comment. Eti media me buy say much them na and me enyo bi na obeka kire na me nya accident kra President Mahama Suma obi ba fie enti okase papa no onim say ye do no ana honorable mami money din man kase meboa say ono ye deputy managing director for Tema Oil Refinery Alhaji Mustafa, former deputy Maslog boss on President Mahama Suma man ba fie Fred Uncle Julius Zebra so oman send me bibi say me friend to Ebrana me former say means you me can no crane send yet. Oh, it is say yes President Mahama na yes yen kan no crane chire na send ye ku papa no. Me patcho say utie me a ba bia wo bia street light eni no ma ye hunu wo Facebook. Ivy Quay or say hunto should shut up. Me cry the minia me no. Me no yeah me only say me ntimi nya ne sa. Say me tima me twa na yinam de akoto me page. No, me I can't do that to him. Me is my brother. Oh, it is a motive. This you want to incite me and my people against me. You should understand. Say they love me. You can't do it. You understand? And better host to be a. Man, you to say you make a lot of errors. I allow it pass because me person me go anymore. The man you say say no. And you see, I did back when pay media war. Me nye be that. Me train you the beba. Me train you the beba ukroma. Media war. Say ma to man no so to man. That be papa no see the radio no. A commercial radio. Yeah, the year name profitable. Ada who host here who hosting I am. Say na no to Darko ana e host dia member na wa man na dem bra. Minia chance my program yegu. Kwajo my program na gu. Wa ma program na begu. Mi o to Darko kura mi ja Accra100.5FM kura ngu. Kwa mi kwache pa wonja yengu. Kwa mna bo bi enche mema no better appointment. You kura sisi ana de me ne Mahama bekasa. Emfasa. Enu kura engu. Ma men kan Facebook comment. Kwa juma kwa mna bo bi ansa ye no mesremo. That guy deserves better. Nka manya na bo chairman kura. Books ye be print here ansa no kura ko. Very well. Rashid Boki, you say, please, it's okay. You are brothers. I agree. We are brothers. Araf Omar, also to that, I agree with you. Papa, Odoko, over 5 years, no street light. Into women American Kwame. Me NDC in Intima men country minister, say. And they say, I'm passing me NDC in the NSM, me serious NDC. Now you say, me person me am a bank opposition. I can't credit natural more. Yeah, turn up and watch it. Celestine Drogba, or say to my inside Gulf City, no street lights. You are bringing it. Charlie, you can also join and bring it. Baby, I would tell me free street light Nibia. Kwajo Fiagwe, Pokwasi to Awush. Kwame, sa kwanu dia grobe nyasene. Sa a beautiful road, but Pokwasi to Awush kwana chairman ekano. Eti, how can you build such a beautiful street light in this one? Charlie. I'm not sure, sir, when I'm asking for street light from the minister, I'm asking for too much. Please. I'm not sure. Sir, I'm asking for too much from the honorable minister if I ask for street lights. If she thinks in that direction, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jamila to Mohammed, class professor, now take it easy. We love you for saying it as it is. Thank you, dear. Would G or say the truth hurt, but must be said. Thank you. We say Pokwasi to Awushi. Very dark. Thank you. Kwajo Fiagwe. Also, we told us the argument from day one. But your mom on Facebook. Na monkai. No man can say me and me create me. I love everybody. Me nipa bi ani wiase a me ne no wasem. I just want them na wasem. No. I live a simple life. Yeah. Once in a while me pie bi na me nyama origin ba ko a sorry ninti. Asa. Nkomanim. I mean, solo. What's that? Solo Dagnon. Otudako, you are pure and proper litigant. And you have certain everybody listening to you. Okay. All right. Ibrahim Musa Elsuaha, I'll see all the way from Northeast. And I know Tudako, good afternoon. We thank God for another year. Okay. I just know, say good afternoon. Watching you live from Kwabinya. In fact, Ghana economy is coming. Okay. So please, you can send in your message. Now, yeah. Okay, Prince Kojo Ofosuware, or say Manfi to Kufrudia and No Street. I won't put say it's not part of the jurisdiction of regional minister. But the point, ladies and gentlemen, I came to make, then say, Yentan will be but say Uba will be a Jumamua. I have not the respect. I'm a Juma for. Me sebi. SCTS Adom FM policy a different from UTV or Peace FM, a different from number 1 FM and Class FM. So Anna a different station, ye different from Accra FM. So you just respect our editorial. Na yen so ya konim. Okay, so that is it. So Kwame, yemfa enono nsi onum na yemra na yenhwe ne yekoso. All right.
Bukwe dada bukwe misuwo mekawo akamiyefu.
In upcoming session. The 9th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana is gearing up for a third sitting scheduled to commence tomorrow with a significant focus on social and family issues. The highlights of the session will be the presentation and discussion of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Value Bill 2025, a legislative proposal that has garnered considerable attention and debate across the nation. That is it. Parliament, 21st, right? That's tomorrow. LGBTQ plus in Samoa, Argentina, or Maimupa. You say, a boba pin, a year, Yenamusini, and I see a name, Menkanasa. Now, on my ancient papa to give us further and better particulars on the matter. Igusu Epusu Hubano, say insa ebeka your parliamentary correspondent. Na watch and of course this LGBTQ plus at a point not make us in reason, but some reason the not say it means so much. Na yen share baby a dien ebe akwakudru. So that is one thing you can was. And for those of you who are Kwame Eslekufu so or secretary for MPP. Who are not here for Esla Ekufu, Minister for Communications, and the other one also a general secretary for MPP. Hey, now you better that be yes, Ejumano. You better that be yes, Ejumano. I mean MPP for one some there. I'm on pefutu Indiana. I mean two on for anything. But you better be yes, Ejumano. Whether or not whoever here say she's fit for purpose. Okay, but many Alila Hafila Kekeli, Fachami, and the Enkomo. Or your parliamentary reporter. Hello, Kekeli.
Yes,
me patro name pum to say.
I'm in charge you.
Yo. Young communibi, FA LGBTQ plus. Abra parliament, Betanasi. Yat say, Becca and Samuel, Becca Honibi. But I will bet Mamma into more, send us some pa as it.
It's not a Yamipua, a year parliament, a year tested to know on the basis to an HSA. Omo baby, you know, bills are hold will be ever if you. Number three, I said, those not yet, and should not end those that. But teacher pa, I will know any a year human sexual rights and family value bills 2025. The HSA, two bills, I would go and I year ready for presentation. HSA, proper. That is property right of spouses bill 2025. Any human sexual right and family value bills 2025. Let's say bills here I would want me no sure near a mosopa. It's a amount for any besa compa any a year anti-LGBTQ bill now more friend human sexual right and family value bill 2025. Okay, a year 2023 Parliament say. Yes, Sabuya, say, Amanti Dada and Akufado, one financial answer here. Copim Tama, a year 8 parliament, we are now 8 parliament, so a Mojuma every year, and as a parliament, a Juma every year, Sana, nature say almost a for me parliament for now. Bills are that done or Muya, went to be reading, nature say a woo, and nature say. Parliament is almost representing our bills with you. And Tisana Akoba, Okama, my penny, John Mahama Eka said to represent bills to Parliament. Now you move in with the Chinese incentive, or more young deliberations make a county. To see idea, I bet you say a year Parliament regime from tomorrow. No, a year bill by how we to if you are not a few more sense. A beer not. By the time I'm sorry in Zimbabwe, no way to be a passive.
But especially with the proper sexual orientation bill, me patro over to me, meaning say when you be acting kaya, and I say, who some of the brief content a bit to me who in a back community a was a bill no as a jitu my baby emra.
She said a mini embosso, but me me too quite like I'm doing everything possible to at least chance on this bill and met me if you mukakra it was a daily day and a shame many a year one our committee no so me fin more say a chanopa economy more committee no soon be a bon come say or bet me ask me for 1 or 2 staff a woman but never to just say at least it's ready for presentation and most likely, no. By the time the House will rise, with me about the tribunal.
But average, generally, who share the position of honourable members on that very bill? Who is saying, "I wish you mube Nagana Funya, Fasabiano."
The two previous parliaments also a unanimous decision and say. Nipa bahu grant me a opposal. Now, send a speaker a put a question. Kana nature says, "Kaka." Seem to say, "Obi will here." Nature say, "Bill we on pointing to Mount Pajansa." Sana speaker put a question. Nature say,
"One can be Pajansa." Speaker, so Anna speaker anya the secret ballot. Na pejansa de bedi you camera so.
Camera studio so. What's the idea? You know, judging from the pulse of the nation, a bed and say, be a member of parliament, be opposite Sabi, and I was Mahamaso, and I HSA, also represented Sabi before it came as a private member's bill, so Kaya. But it's coming as a government sponsored bill, HSA, a cabinet and a parliament, HSA, a bed in percentage, a year particular business from the majority side. On the opposing. Now, here minority, so senior Bibena Takano, or me a micro minority, and HSA. Now, we vote no, and said, and Cashes are handy. We judge from the pulse of the nation and from various conversations I've had, even with members on the committee and other members of parliament, and HSA. If it's me, who say, Kianeki on the pass.
Okay. And you know what's in fancy here. Now, I'm saying, Ripa. Yɛbɛsan aba wakache a megye sɛ wɔmfa biribi anka me yɛda ase paa yɛna mu sini ɛyɛ Avila Kekali ana yɛde no twe nkɔmmɔ ɛyɛ parliamentary correspondent nti me sure sɛ this very bill ɛyɛ bill a Ghana for yɛhwɛ anim kan paa but Kwame biribi wɔ hɔ no mu a mepɛ sɛ anka me ne Ghana for kyɛ ɛfa ɛyɛ adwuma aban yi ho and you see yɛahwɛ yi a ɛntrom frɛm a ɛwɔ ewie mu no mema bebre adwene differently me pese mutie sa same way na hobrase kwan so yetie ni and that is the more reason why I think say emfa woni party awo anka be ya ye ma ban we entina se kakra me ba to tie me ye pa I see say there are a lot of people are one person be flag bearers for MPP me many sure because senkrofo no na say Ghana senkrofo no ana say Ghana. No, flag bearers of MPP. Why no way? No, Bomudin, Kennedy, Japan. Anna Wembium. Oh, Bomudia, Educhum. We Educhuma, Urabamia. Kwamena, Japan. There are 5. Kwame Wembi Naka. Kennedy, Japan, Urabamia, Educhum. Brea Champon. Brea Champon. Now, to start with, Obi say Brian Champon, like minim the moral power like utiminya kukudro kase meso mpese me president anya hwekura de ayawa so west wagon violence is still fresh in our minds. Ghana for sa 2 minu amunya ya what is sa aban no me patcho mo ma 2 minu ntina kakra say no de aban transwa na yehwe ne nkoyi a otu da komia ma be ka kire mo say ensansa no. But for now this government is the best we need to develop our nation. And me patcho we say what the mechiacha I'm not speaking this with political sense or any partisan spedacop. Me can okrepa. And maybe we'll come to the statistics. The Ayawasu West Wagon, the Emu Short Commission report indicted Urabre Champo Anambwa. At a point in time, no minister the presidency in charge of national security. How was that deployment done? And for the first time, if not one of the few occasions in the history of Ghana, we had a certain member of parliament in the personality of Honorable Samnate George. That former butu and untina na say yakoya blekuma north elections here. Mami Eddie pepper spray ko ya obi heading na enkrofo kasa bibiri no hoye bangam say hey me nkase eye but time one ye bu Sam George me MPO dia na ye tietia san krofo no mo kase how akum say na in the first place Sam George one fa gloves and call one fa pepper spray and call our akum say the pepper spray ekoye den e obabi eto aba. You understand what I'm saying? Eti say over champion kase what president didn't one my flag bearer and maybe at the threshold of the elections you better say me pray. Ya kan no tumua eka ye ni ekata aswa anka menu ka say ye hotels Ghana hotels nyina Senate hotels La Palm Royal Beach, La Badi Beach, any other 3 beaches aka Honorable Ghana Japadi Yankeko. One and a Pesa hotels, and you rubber a champo. And you Rabbi Champo, the same person say, Yama 90 days ban. Na galam say, to be trapped. What's not power for 8 years? A foot to one farmer, Nana Kufado. Come on, 18-month ban crampo, and in Sweden, say, patriotic journalists against galam say, they report Babonting. 80, any case, any case. Honorable Kwamene Japan. Eyobia anke bia obey fine kakra. Unfortunately, he did not own up and speak the truth. People like Honorable Kwamene Japan, anana epese omdu Rabamia mai. And I'll come to Rabamia himself. Because so Rabamia na ankoye senia Honorable Kwamene Japan my yetiase during their campaign. I didn't no contest no. Say na sanko sanko the camp, no support, but today he's contesting him. And when you start MPP, a drew maybe I said, I'm sorry, now kind of all of you were silent. Because even if only Paula Foko at a point, any Same Crabmo, no first vice chairman, I'm suspending more. You came back later. Sabra no, not another Danko Kufadmo, SA MPP. No. Why were you silent? Time no, na want to be more can somewhere, egu MPP. No. Why were you silent? Why were you silent? Eti afedie abeng eti no obepe president. You are not to say dano me be kenkan owura duchum and owura duchum there maybe one of the times coming. Mensi abetrase na ye di owura duchum ho nkomo. Double track duchum asem na make. What sense you could put up a president? Ghana one I'm telling you Kwame. Say oman no yadwuna anya dwuma omomu ye yo. Obia Why Minister of State? Now, when I go share there 2 weeks, better than 3 months. What the Ghana sending is our benefit. Why Minister and Po? Send away education. What I could in America. Idea was many saw STEM education. I give it up for him. There were times we had no STEM education with TV, so it was beautiful. But education in general, and I do to say, more education. No presidency. Yes, you may have a fine personality. I don't know about your responsibility as a leader. But in terms of persona, you're okay. But any persona need to mind, say, any who offend you to mind. Debbie. You're the competence and the boy mind. And we are judging you based on the appointment I hold here as a minister of education. I could that to me every school befi. Ubi some kwada beya or say yenim. Like seriously, when an minister? Oh dear, so my to Paku Prempe Napo, and the first time as a minister, Sebi, 1 year a year. Papa is all crowd school abroach, Sana Martino, Sana Brucho Moyano. Now school no send for one amatum. I'm afraid to be able to. I want Ghanaians to understand, say, Sabaya Manyay, John Dramani Mohammed Dianimi, allow Mukakra, Namonchadi. And I'll come to the statistics. Mu allow a bank akra. Forget when this in one people. Now you trade from Mahamano as a leader. You end this you can't defend now you want as leaders. You miss say na Ghana near the someone for some time. Ghana basing. Then who is the last person? They say Yaya Duchum, Brea Champon, Yaya Kwamene Japan. And when be Munaka? Anna when be. Canada Japan. No Ukraine say 5 ninja. 5 na air contest ninja. So we this say any year a free hold more. Nyanka meme penasem. Canada Japan. On ananka like in terms of being biased. Anka on anka penasem. But Mira, you do manage on Sansweni. Ora Canada Japan. Take it or leave it. At a point in time, if I am contesting in Nadia, maybe in terms of the credit, I'll raise him above all of them. Because Mekai's a time where he said some of those things. But a Drumibia, Nakamia says, I want person who free and Yama Bonia a course under the Kufado administration. And Orakene Japan has had problems with a lot of people in this country. Oh, me penasem. I no kwasa me say, enye so po bi asem and me yedi akani ehyenisa. Problems with journalists and then I say Ahmed Swali case no attorney general so interested be more whatever. What was the position? Was it omunya evidence? Suspect na ere. Omunya enough evidence and answer day. 80 suspect ni dey no metwem na 80 omo pe different evidence ana. Aha, okay. 80 enye se ne bi kan se asenia ometwa ayi ameswale case say omundi akiri. But suspect na omo hwe mu no intensa na ye dey born no. Like enkame kwa say evidence share any ho. When they say so mugya no. And they say so mugya no. No make sure so betimanya the concrete evidence to make sure so be bia with this anyambra nsem no will be pinned down. But we remember clearly, ladies and gentlemen, say over Kennedy Japan tran radio station so. Me repeating here. But at the end of the day, now it was against Ameswali. Anchen Ameswali we. Yeah, in every serious nation, and by now he'll be investigated. Forgive me, I love him, but me cannot catch them. I love him, but me can't say me say me catch them. Me nya accident ni mu. Me hold no be frame me. Anna or see oh the way me forget. But the point I'm making is say, yes, I love him, but I'm pampa say, if it was any serious country, say obi to be making statement against a journalist. Na enchene ni penewu. Na obi enka hwe. Is it because of Uska? And today also the president. At a point in time, you think Serbia, Honorable Kennedy Japan wanted to sanitize the ASOFO system, and he has problem with ASOFO. No one about pay my crown no more. The truth is that amongst the five, to me, he may be my best candidate, but he may be a fit candidate to lead MPP, but to lead Ghana, I doubt. Now let me come to Bamia. Bamia can take a whole year. Me can dia connect say near by way ye yamani so yani, and I'll be coming to fuel in a jiffy. I'll be coming to the microeconomic indicators in a jiffy. Baby omufani free, baby ababe drew in terms of exchange rate, in terms of policy rate, inflation, those things will come. Then we will massage and who say I buy way young man in Kosuntuaswana, and it's obvious. Eti ankabaya. Can you imagine if I buy way at so for 20 years? I'm just making an assumption. Anka Ghana, by saying. First 4 years of President John Dramani Mahama, and I'll come to Bamia. Kwame, say me use hospitals as example. Kekekra, ubo we near no who reach hospital. Ubo we near who Bank of Ghana hospital. Ubo we near Tamale hospital. Ubo we near who Maritime hospital. Ubo we near University of Ghana Medical Center. Near Oni Ura Tamusi East. Just a lot of hospitals. Bebre, Kumau Hospital, Kenguram, Sevilla Hospital, Kenguram, Polyclinics, Ahodwa, James Company, Ahodwa. Or no year be as president. Not the Dofo, Mrs. Dr. Lordina Mahama, and so the Lordina Foundation, yeah, Juma. Fantastic woman by our standard. And Mami, Lordina Mahama, Yenyane Seso, Yenyane Seso, Bear Tang Wagana, and Kagana, ye. Oba or wakumapa, and yes, I be our boni kunupo or wakumapa, and because of Mrs. Dr. Lordina Mahama, we have a lot of places. I sankene and mafra aya woman, and so we see maternity clinic one muntino, Omanyankwa. And my sankomu, and because of clinic I was into Omanyankwa. Oman can work cross esa, Omanante Quensini, and San Omar Access Hospitals because of Lordina Foundation and Omanyankwa. No wonder say United Nations for friend no some especially children and women. That woman is even a different world. And let me drop that. Even in hospital alone, a Juma John Dramani Mahama na bre so edikan wobeye no. Look, it's more than the whole 8 years of Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, you take somebody like Urabamia. The first quality me pager when it comes to leadership, honesty and truthfulness. What penny and some end of him. Or penny and some end of him. From taxation to production, ekosi saying Assembly TFM. One district, one factory, ekosi saying Assembly TFM. To the extent say kasapreko, a whole kasapreko. Eye akufado na kasapreko how many years ago? Afedie, you discuss a crash one year signboard amount. You discuss a cram one year signboard amount near friend factory. At of one constituency, one village, at of you quoted $12 million here, the Kwakusi Pualugu Dam, best in the signboard impunso. And Orabamia, in most of these things, you were the chairperson of the economic management team. What Hanomana will say won't pay e-levy. And so you had the e-levy at Uncrofosu, went to be on Kabao. You lack the power to own up and speak for your people. How can you be our leader? Orabamia? How can you be our leader? Pualugu Dam. Okay, let's say a real Pualugu Dam. It is one of the major, I can say, development of MPP. Monko Pualugu Dam. Signboard crazy. And so, Auditor General reports through Public Account Committee, I really say $12 million and the try yang. As manager of the economic management team, what were you managing, Mr. Bamia? You think say you have outgrown that man? Yenfa a whole Ghana show sir. MPP crumple the matter say going to be na Ghana. MPP, Empo, and matter say going to be na Ghana. Ghana for Mr. Mo kai taxes ane go so. Aban we buy. Mon kai say nya kwekwe yi levy free ho. Anya kwekwe yi betting tax free ho. Anya kwekwe no we emission levy no anka omo be sha said ye adwuma na free ho. Ene anka mutua emission levy. Ene anka mutua electronic levy. Ene anka mutua betting tax. Wo me de misika kwotwa bet. Wa ma me bi. Me di a wo se me ma 10% na me lose o ma me say. What kind of fairness is this? My image say 1,000 cities. My try bet, me winning. Also, me ma 10%. Me see you 10%. Now me the same 1,000 cities try bet. Now me lose wa. I don't know about 10%. Remember me. Wow, mo be adwuma. All the back no and also yeje. The only advantage our bet who say en tax yourself like say bia train kwada na free menyem. But make employment me free. Make employment available. One and I'm just sorry, I call Betty, you know, I call Betty. I do many. I buy way now, but true will be to say Basin Talimo. To make sure say a lot of our youth are getting now saying Deputy Minister Miami Brapenin, Bruja Jenfi, announced here before about 12,000. And Makatem says 12,000, you know. Anyways, it's security matters, but I should leave it there. But I still insist say a Jumabi Honum. Na first security name and first security one mon for mom said money binya. I've told you send this for Ghana for. I keep telling you. So father for all system no at the party co-position and this is one penny for when I make us as much and see me wura me papa I say don't ketia so. Now on chama mo akanyina including me papa fifi kweti. Adwuma bia mo be ba no mesra mo 50% mo fa men this for. The Ghanaians MPP came and supported their people. Please support your people. Na time no me campaign no MPP before enka no mo support Urabamia na wini yanka ne MPP before the sise dwumam mo so ma wini ada na mo nkra for there mo so mo be father for me pa chaw ni obey oni no dia bebesre woni o ma me kratia enkwan no wasani woni o ma me tia enkwan no sase e tise mo power dey take care of your people first. They are also Ghanaians. MPP for so qualify no you can take care of them but your people first. Me ba so na me katia say the point I am making is say, and let me do this quickly and maybe you be break here. At a point in time, I buy with that policy rate and policy rates. It determine a year rate banking rates. The friend say, "Oh, kwaji banker, kwaji bank be say, oh, mumwame. Policy rates it determines whatever you take." In terms of Sika, I'll bet your bank any Ninsimo. Now 28%. I think about down to about 25%, if not low. Because of this government insertion. Inflation rates. President Mahama second time of 23.5%. And the Minuka say inflation rate a single digit. Exchange rates. Not dollar to CD. Almost a million 16 CDs. Now 14.5 or something. Okay, even if 14 cities are, as I'm speaking with you, no, exchange rate, cedi to dollar, cedi to pound, cedi to euro. 10 cedi 70 pesos. And when you are selling, when you are buying 10 cedi 60 pesos. Make a note here. These are certain basic economic indicators. Abani dia gu akwanso a boy e kire say sa ban we trembu cha ombe boy. Memo bia na da because ye kwan na ye nyina na be fa so. Ye kwan na Nana Akufo-Addo you saw about 3 years. There be a year of road. Even a year of road no. And your President Mahama na asia ba contractors say do mkawasi amo mskafufro so munko the same road Nana Akufo-Addo ba me aso mo ye. Yeni harum no me about is it 809 million Ghana cedis and US dollars 809 million yayi pokwase kwan no. President Mahama onu wonu buy Nana Akufo-Addo say a year of road ya kwan nyina. Meanwhile President Mahama buy no 809 ama pokwase for no say omunye sa kwan no. 80 year of road na kwan be no ye. The same President Mahama a car abandon ni jatu won contractors or do ka wa ba betua bi. In fact, Saban way no mun tiase say ye be masa nursing allowance. Obeka ya no le dom ko position at the point omutwam. And yet omoba no still omo ba betua sa nursing allowance. Nurses for you almost for 10 months. Yen twam kai. Na nya ban way arrangement o. During the transition period, Aban way through chief of staff e can say obi bia yem fa na dwumam and I am for before the 7th of December no yes from ma like you can say yem posu mo ansa na omumre metena se na omuhwehwem se na be ya the right people ana ye be kofen krofo bebre ewi ase no ye de be sha ban ne konse etwase etwam ka me no kase ono abu minta kando da be no so betwam ka no it's done, it's settled. Abainu Bunipa, those were the time and now were president. I am for crowd commando, I'm sorry. And then John Mahama, or no qua, I am for person sorry was Montanase. I'm talking about a leader. Out him say that he has married the spirit of servitude. Whatever the chief of staff Julius Debra. I am Brazil from Kwa. Etimisramo, BDC. But Niameka ne say, let's allow this government some latitude. Yeah, my bad way chance. Can you imagine NBC? Say no mbekonwa for 20 years. With a picture. 4 years of Mahama Henoye. Now say omukwa be 20 years. You just picture. Me nka say edru ba bi no nya dia yanko so ntoma mo dabi and dem you to da kura me ma ka say you me free for ba. But for now no omo ye niema ye pe no. Na entai sisi benya leaders omba ye niema ye pe no. Look, let's keep these people. They are fixing our roads. Let's keep them. They are fixing our hospitals. Let's keep them. They are fixing unemployment. Let's keep them. They are fixing the basic economic indicators. Let's fix them. Well, you keep you on. Very well. Mami fancy na yen try hon call break him ra. That is how we do it live on Accra100.5FM citizen show. Any adwuma no a ye no. Ye try hon ye ba ye besi ato aso stay on.
Give us P capsules and then everything.
Honoring us with your presence at this first dialogue on illegal mining. We know that the issues of illegal mining are dear to your hearts and to the hearts of every Ghanaian. And that's why we decided that from time to time we'll hold this dialogue. This is not going to be the last. We'll hold this dialogue to update you on the progress that we're making in the fight against illegal mining. Mining in Ghana has been historical, and when the first Portuguese arrived in Elmina, one of the first things we sold to them was gold, and that's why they built a fort in Elmina. Our grandfathers were involved in mining. The problem with the difference between then and now is that they use rudimentary tools to undertake the mining. And so the capacity to create destruction to the environment was very limited. The whole equation changed when the small-scale mining sector started deploying heavy earth-moving equipment. Before, it was only the big-scale mining sector that was involved in using excavators and bulldozers and huge dump trucks. At a point in time, the small-scale mining sector, which is a legal sector of our mining, it was passed in PNDC time to allow, because we realized that the big mining companies were owned by foreign companies, and Ghanaian small-scale companies that had the capacity to mine were prevented from doing so. And so the mining code was revised to add for small-scale miners. And as I said, there's a difference between small-scale mining and artisanal mining. Artisanal mining was what existed before, using pickaxes and shovels and so on and so forth. But when the new licenses for small-scale mining started, and they could afford to bring in excavators and bulldozers and others, it meant that their ability to destroy the environment was expanded. And that is where we currently have our problem. I want to assure you that we are determined to win this fight. And your contributions, your criticisms, your pressure, putting fire under our feet does not have any problem. We don't have any problem with that. You must continue to do your advocacy, to urge us on, to encourage us to win the fight. As I said in the last media encounter, I said that I had no illusions that within 7 months I was going to win the fight against Galamsey. And I said that it wasn't going to be an event, it was going to be a process. Mistakes have been made. In the first effort we made, we go into a forest reserve. We mapped out the forest reserves that had been that had incursions of illegal miners, and we deployed the first wave of our security services. They scored a lot of successes. In a short time, they had cleared some of the major forest reserves that were called no-go areas. Unfortunately, after we cleared the illegal miners from there, the security services withdrew and handed over the forest reserve to the Forestry Commission. And so they put their forest guards there. The forest guards don't have the capacity to defend the reserves against the illegal miners. And so lessons learned were that in the next wave, with the formation of NIMOS, that we must deploy It comes with a cost, because if you send troops and station them permanently to guard the forest reserves, we must feed them, we must provide them with fuel, we must give them vehicles and all the logistics they need to be able to do that. And so that links up with Franklin's question about budget. We need a substantially bigger budget than we have currently to be able to win this war. Happily, budget hearings have started. The budget for next year is going to be presented to Parliament. And my expectation is that the Minister of Finance will give a much bigger allocation to this fight against Galamsey. We also need enough troops. Our troops are stretched. We have so many chieftaincy disputes all over the country, land disputes. And so you go to Sampa, we have troops there. You go to Gonjaland, Savannah, there are troops there. You go to Boko, there are troops there. You go to Nkwanta, our troops are there. And then our troops are also on the border to protect us from terrorism. And so they are spread thin. If we take another batch of them and go and put them in the forest, it means that we are committing most of our troops to other things other than crime prevention and keeping us safe. And so that's why NIMOS is a combination of the police and the army. So all of them contribute troops. And then we also have national security also contributing, and all the other agencies. But happily, we have some additional troops coming with the winding down of some of the peacekeeping theaters. And so when they come, as many of them as possible, we'll add them to the force so that we're able to dominate all the anti-Galamsey sites and be able to win the battle. As he said, we have targeted 7 major zones in the regions, and the Army have come up with a proper strategy. NIMOS has come up with a proper strategy for engaging the illegal miners and making sure that we clear them from especially the forest reserves and the water bodies. One of the important successes is the change in the whole issue of excavators. Excavators came in huge quantities, and I remember that at a point under the previous administration, they asked that permits be gotten before excavators are imported. Meanwhile, the law did not say you should get a permit after, but that was what we came to meet, that you bring the excavator, then you go to the Ministry of Transport and ask for a permit. But the law actually says that you must get a permit before you import the excavator. And so now we are enforcing that law. And so you can't bring an excavator in, you can't put it on a ship, and we're telling the shipping agencies, if you bring an excavator for which there's no permit, we shall penalize you, the shipping agency, for carrying that excavator here to Ghana. In the meantime, we came to meet a huge quantity of excavators in the port. And that is what the Lands Minister was explaining to you, that we had to decongest the ports because there was no more space for anything. And so we've moved them to the military space at the Shire Hills and other locations, and we've corralled them there. One of the successes too is the registration of excavators. Even though the law requires excavators to be registered, nobody was registering their excavator. And so if you look at the DVLA records, there was no registration of excavators. And so anybody could bring in an excavator and take it straight into the forest. Today, we are requiring that every excavator must be registered with the owner of the excavator known. And once that is done, like he said, we started putting trackers on the excavator so that we know exactly where they are going to. It's not only illegal miners who use excavators, contractors working on our roads, quarries, and others all use excavators. And so it's impossible to just put a complete ban on excavators, but we must know where that excavator is being used for construction purposes. And so we now can hold the owners of excavators responsible if we find the excavator in a forest reserve or engaged in illegal mining. And so that's one of the advances that we have made. We've started a geofencing policy where it makes it possible for us to know where every excavator is, so that if the excavator moves after where it was geofenced, then we can go and find out where did this excavator go and what is it doing where it has gone. And so that would help us. With regards to turbidity of the water, as the scientist said, it's just about, you can see physically with your eyes, you know, what the turbidity of the water is. The thicker brown it is, the more coffee-like it is, the more polluted it is. The less it is, the less polluted it is. And so, like he said, we are scoring a few successes, especially on the Ankobra. I believe the minister chose the Ankobra to start because it flows through his constituency. And so there are some successes, but like he said, we still have the Pra, we have the Densu, we have the Birim, you know, we have the Ofin and all of them. But that means that we must get more manpower. The Blue Water Guards have started work, and a lot of them are deployed on the Ankobra River. So far, we've recruited 1,000 of them. we pay them an allowance of, if you take away deductions and other taxes, of about 1,500 cedis a month. And so if we have 1,000 of them, and we pay about 1,500 a month, it means for a year, you're talking about roughly 18 million cedis. And that's for 1,000 of them. And so if we scale up, then it means that we need more money to employ more of them. But I endorse it because it gives them an alternative source of income. Because as they are fighting the pollution of our water bodies, they are also earning an income as a kind of alternative livelihood. And so that is something that we'll have to scale up. And so the Minister of Finance in doing the budget must make extra provision. We also have to start reclamation, because it's not enough to just stop them and drive them away and leave the land scarred the way it is. And so there are a few companies that have worked with the United Nations, and they have come up with some trees that help to regenerate the soil and can also take out toxins from the soil. If you've heard about the green Sahelian wall that the United Nations was sponsoring, some of the companies involved there have also come and tried those crops in areas that we want to reclaim. And they say that the tests are positive and they can work with us. But of course, we need to use these bulldozers and things we have recovered to level out the land before these vegetative, organisms are put in the land to be able to reclaim the land. So reclamation is one of the areas that we must look to. Happily, we should be able to get some support from green climate funds and a lot of these green funds to assist us in reclamation. But we must put our resources in first. The menace of illegal mining, and I've been trying to find out about best practice, and I found out that apparently we are not the only ones suffering. The high gold price is pushing a lot of people into gold, especially gold. Into, and there's violence, people have died, all kinds of things are happening. So we might not be the only persons, but there are success stories we can learn from. Because if you look at Chile, for instance, they've been able to formalize 90% of their small-scale gold mining. It means 90%, they were in the same situation as us. But today, 90% of their small-scale mining is formalized. And they have control of it. They inspect, they make sure that they're doing the right thing. We can also achieve that. And so even though we're not alone facing that menace, I believe that we can use it.
But my telephone who said, lawyer citizen Dazi, General Secretary, Emma, the Great Consolidated Popular Party, GCPP, Mira Ababeka, and Sat did that. And you hear any map me and Sat, Bompire, remember quite, took no file suit to block Bafo Boni's vetting as Chief Justice. Sending him said, former Chief Justice Mame Isaba Tokunu say okwan bi aso wontenase anya hwehai na yemvete the newly nominated Chief Justice to be, I should say, Ura Bafo Boni. Ebehwe on munsem na yakafe Alan Chamatin faces possible legal challenge from MPP over Unity Party name. Party I want for UP. Ura Lanche Martin and Idiani Menkana Sarah free movement for change. From top party UP and MPP for be Shasia. Threatening says likely say as media one here because in the Yakupen for Masebre. Omuha one and say UP tradition only cry. Lanche Martin team into UP very well. Senior any be Charlie. MPP flag bearer race and matters arisen. Ebe he hono so accept na yaka na yetete say for listing for contract. Oh, social media. Sebejo. Very well. Ma me kwana cancel. And the country na numu to answer. Obeti so join yen live on Accra100.5 FM. Na also the wajinchire about Facebook. Me so copy link in the mind. Na fato to other platforms on WhatsApp on Facebook na yekweni. Cancel akwaba.
No to. Majodo. Era bre ma minchio na minchia we production team. Ejuma pa amre ya mo man Ghana. Na minchia yetefu na shofa wo hwe via social media. Otu nsama abobodi, especially in relation to the removed Chief Justice Yemami Isaba Araba Tokono. Mini na fi simpa. Nefa fi simpa. Nti mekede wobonizin as a Chief Justice nominated by the President. Meyoje because sebe nketesia hrowa owo simpa na no nkwado otum wohwe na abrabo otum wohwe no ho a ọmọ wọn so wenyanyi je na wenya epie de won suaze nko wonenyim na yankopon bama won do ekesi mpempendo bi na sometimes you do baby we na abrabo ma ye maybe you feel that because of where we are we cannot be wrong, and we sometimes forget ourselves that we are still under the law. Mete in some bebre finance mo bimus doesn't meet the threshold, it doesn't meet this. But what you say the man, the ordinary Ghanaian now on my chance my yet to me in a certain position. Ordinary Ghanaian or Kotwaba. Emma be president, my president to my nominate to be done by a Chief Justice. Obekade A. Now Mukwe brother. One shamu won't be said there. Do I even deserve that threshold?
Yeah.
The Chief Justice of your brother, it is not stated misbehavior. We are watcher on your stated misbehavior. Even though me, I have said them, we need an ally that will explain stated misbehavior. Now, Article 146, the procedure yeba follow
explicitly,
so that it was not left to what do you call it?
The committee.
No, I mean, you know, sometimes I say Bibi and you are if I pedo discretion.
Yeah, discretion.
So that's not left out of discretion. It should be very clear. Because already me in the Council of State. Now you can't say that a Council of State is not partisan.
But by their nature, they are not supposed to be partisan.
They are not supposed to be by Untumunka. Because you see, if you're kwana go for per Council of State, you won't be. I mean, people are fighting to go and advise the president. Or food chase car to go and advise the president. No. What's your interest? What's your interest? Aha. So I feel that there's interest there, but the point is that going forward, we need to do it. But in this case, it is a lesson that everybody should learn. That Sebi in your position be jina. Undo biari show inti yaza omo wunyan wasam banenka. But all this while, I think that we've not paid attention to certain things. Yeah, I mean, one ma wakasa otei, one ma wotumutunu one ma wotumwachine. I think they should pay attention to her emotional and psychological needs. There, Sebi. Natinka so okona dwundwunum one for woman wo yonkon because oh man ka do water for but say oh there be you see sometimes equal how be more you take certain decisions without really thinking broadly. Aya emotions or clad with judgments. Atasa a kid on Ampukade baby wasn't quite the one got to Tunano or do I na onya kebi. You understand? So somebody who has said that they no couldn't count on maybe ye or maybe or na. Then if Yamor could be a expert then can them be weighing all those things, you know, but to our bath yondo. Into bottom we take certain decisions might not be in their interest at the long run. And the pay me can't be. Yes. And the pay me can't be there. Yenma Christopher. The person we look up to is Jesus. Jesus knew the law. Brand Jesus onyim farasi fu wambra oyim bibia rekodu yinara neso no tu when what did Jesus cause gina asemzi bia no he chose silence over brevity.
Yeah,
do you kukudrofo obotum akonoko obotum agene ho. He could have done all those things. In fact, he could have responded when they asked him there, what's you are the king of the Jews? He could have responded, but he chose to say the Aka. He chose silence over defense. In America there, some of her defense and the timing of all these things are according. It is raising issues of whether really he's thinking through most of the things. Listen to him there. She was part of the Supreme Court ruling on Otsinadubi. Dafiamapo versus Attorney General. Tama Parliament nanado ye certain reshuffle. Na ministers ni biwa or appointing one to certain ministries. When you were vetting, then they started working. He wanted to enchant Parliament. Exactly. The Supreme Court ruling say nobody can stop Parliament from performing its constitutional duties.
Constitutional. We know what to with
Constitution is there. Yeah, Amambra Ghana edi ejuma. Mbrekuna Ghana edi ejuma no. Osha Parliament keti won dwumezi bi odozi mu. Inti dam Supreme Court ya ye maami to kono kan wa na wo ka de. Obi biara enyi wo botum. Wesu Parliament wo kwan. Don kwaye ndwuma dem and mbrekunyi wa hye ne don ye.
Maami to kono etiase.
Otu obi no wo kan. Ene na anu Vincent Assefa versus Attorney General. No, so the same thing. The Supreme Court here also was sent to wait for do there. Obia you able to waste your Parliament who come why any juma. Inti saying him the margin na yembrainim ya. Atembofu ina we zika. Sa atembofu ina what's na wa. Na ye wo panyin
when I King Kong nkasa
na se inyim dame mbre nyina e kan mpo ma wa ye we budamo fo ni bia wa den ye na senso e de e kan jankt e de mbre ka to Parliament da want to me nya won adwuma de me dwuma no oye mbre kunyi ya me fe no constitution na wa hye Parliament de onye. There say we nominate Chief Justice. I don't know why in vetting. Enjoy more. Number 2, I do close more in there. Yeah, mommy Chief Justice in there. Say Supreme Court. Wobu Assembly into me found court or Supreme Court nasi. The one won't judge assembly as Supreme Court where you are not know. The assembly are making that you can't stop Parliament, you can't injunct Parliament in performing its constitutional duties. You know, Supreme Court you know, one ruling. Now they are called High Court. A High Court, the one injunct Parliament.
President, you ready? Was there be me Ghanaian to a minister? Minister for you, mom.
Mudinwa no so ayam na kakra.
Ema say Alaji say otu kofi me kwa ma cho for my you. How is that possible?
You know, otu ayam na kakra. No so yam na kakra. Ina
nim na. You see, sometimes Abia your dream say me rising through that level. See Abia no need. Could it be said there nim no nim and our shedder and like you said emotionally she's not thinking right?
It could be all of them. I wouldn't go on the route of him no him. No, I wouldn't go on that route. It could be an agenda, or it could be the like I'm saying, emotionally she's not thinking right. So people are suggesting, and she's like, okay, if you think it's okay, go ahead. Let's see what could come out of it. Ni reasons. But I mean, teaching more. I do not be me in there. Probably somebody has not done a full job, one thing through fully. Them na me muhun. Na any reliefs no so always seek na. Inyama ebi on there is some quarter. Iwo ye maybe a ihwe nyim the court no obeya amo.
Okay.
The kronye there. Tama what did them asemi tunodo petitions bay na waka de onfene dwuma to na azini na no na ketua no yene courtesies nyame bia nkoye de o nensa ka nyina no nensa nka nto onfene na man say listen yama a chief justice Edonya some of them probably it can be done, but some of them too, I don't know how she would want it to be done. Chief Justice or motorcade is part of the courtesies.
And a former.
There, a Chief Justice, the office of a Chief Justice, has that opportunity. See, where you want for more. And what more for what period? So see there in Yama. Honestly, within that period now, what can they or suspension in our one man? Let me be said there. Into the month also one financial man and one for man for what period? Maybe as a 1 month and 2 months, 3 months and there. I mean, you see, and I'm thinking of I'm trying to let us understand. I don't want to use, but for want of a better word, absurdity in some of these requests. Mesre, I don't know, but the council was in the name CCR. No, Governor Dami at some point was a legal council and all that.
I mean,
yeah, actually, Odu Baby Suna, former Attorney General Yukweutu, is also serving as his legal counsel. But you see, on some of these things, it looks more partisan. Every lawyer probably might have their political leanings, but to be or you really out there, if you really want to succeed, sometimes use, depending on the situation, use an opponent. Sure. MPP during their time, there were times that Honorable Dominic Ayeni, now Attorney General, led the legal AE of even ECG. Yes, I mean people will say, oh, in past he was their legal counsel. So, but yes, they have every right. On your cases, yeah, I think 1 or 2 cases, he led it.
Are you saying, sir, Mami Tukunufa NBC. You know, the lawyer Bia and
Oh yes. If really anybody was willing to do that, can you imagine if Chajuji Kata was her legal counselor? How you can imagine the implication, even psychologically in the crowd, it carries certain weight. You understand? So for me, I think that sometimes minimum so consulting this declining there, but for me, I think sometimes the choice of people, especially when people felt today, if you friend or a woman organizer for the MPP, you understand? And then you go into that, all your legal counsel, everybody who fought for you, it is, I mean, it makes it look so clear. For me, on no member with them, but aside that, I want to wish her well. It is her right. If Opedoko court one fail second, one fail true, now so Opedo from Brakwan that, it is fine to do that.
Mr. Darko, good afternoon. Watching live from New York. I'll say Sai, so I want to believe your stream Sai said something about the USP. The USP needs to be investigated. But you know what I'm here. I'll say as for the Chief Justice, are you cool too? Is her problem. That is what Samuel I don't know why he's saying that though, but based on your explanation.
Yeah. I mean, some of the people that you choose, I mean, I don't know whether you saw the banter with Dom Levo and Ayukweo too and all those things. I think the pusher of people around her, this is not what she needs at this point. This is not what she needs. So yeah, she'll be today. Yeah, my mission lot to say. She could have fought back. She chose not to. Now, in people's mind, everybody feel there she was just victimized. Everybody feels that no, Charlotte Asai didn't deserve what she went through. But look at her, she's doing other things. And Yama Mitokonu could have done other things. Just, you know what, keep quiet, let go.
The advice some of us gave
and
to exit. If she had negotiated her exit, I mean, sure Sanka, all these courtesies would have.
But you see, out of bad advice, people would always say that immediately you do that, it means you're complicit. So you could, and for Article 146, when you you don't have an option to resign. Same corner there, go be a baby. She could have gone behind the scenes to engage, and probably if the president, as we know him to be, would have compassion and decide to drop things or make things behind the scenes, fine, because so she could have done those engagements way before things happened. She saw it coming. She can't tell me she didn't see it coming. No. You see, and that is the ridicule that she doesn't deserve. She could have avoided it.
She thinks that she has worked.
A former Chief Justice goes to a high court and they mention her name and she comes. I mean, that whole process. It's psychologically. I don't know how it's working for her. Otonya is you. There, somebody like a caliber. Also, we could try that she's not supposed to pay, and she's done this like because we were expecting her of certain high expectations. Right. And for me, Nina come more BB Kakra, and I'm expecting that she could have done otherwise and made the whole situation tidy, because the way the situation is not tidy at all, and it seems going to get worse. I don't see how she will succeed with the High Court injuncting the Parliament of Ghana to perform its duties. I don't see how it can be done, and High Court compelling the president. Well, let's see how it unfolds.
Felix supposed to be CC, unfortunately. I'm saying to me MP. So live on Accra100.5 FM. Citizen show about your friend Mammy. Over to me and so I share opinion. Over to me joining on Facebook now. Also, wait to me actually watching messages. Abano, I'm replying to your backing kind. Na the amount now on Alancha Martin. Yeah, come patch up one on Fatus Mammy. Yeah, on AUP party. Yeah, Ira Lancha Martin. Udiabai from the Butterfly Party, a movement for change to now United Party. You can say if there will be a possible suit. Now you hear the merit of the matter. But this is dated October 20th, 2025. President meets Chief Justice, Attorney General, and Auditor General on enforcement of audit reports. And we are one area who hear me papa because they look follow public account committee na ubesu. Me amongst them near they be a mekaye krachina wawunua omukwa yenibi. And so for 26 months they keep on validating him every month. Hey, brother, you wa. Aye no kwame kwachi kobi. Yesi kwesi mintimewu. Kwame kwachi validation officer. And so and so every year, I can say every month, you try to validate. Very well. The president today met with the Chief Justice, the Attorney General, and the Auditor General to discuss measures for strengthening the enforcement of findings contained in the Auditor General's report. At the meeting, it was agreed that special courts will be designated to handle cases arising from audit infractions contained in the Auditor General's report, including the enforcement of surcharges and disallowances and prosecution of related criminal offences. The initiative forms part of government's broader effort to enhance accountability, deter misuse of public funds, and ensure prompt recovery of monies owed to the states. Inti Misro sani ebo de runwene omampeni John Dramani Mahama sani ora Felix Kwachi niya oye kasama for penny pa ema bain SCNE ene omampeni Asia Chief Justice Attorney General and a Auditor General in financial infractions akoso niya oboy amani ne say ya konti asia pam say afedi ye ba be special courts ye ba be try one way susu say ebia umudi sa anyambrasem no but ahanum eyemede ansana council bebam no mamhwese metimi ehunhonum wakan o say including the enforcement of also surcharges and disallowance and prosecution of related criminal major ama council na waboa me but ahonum yemede pa what it means by that na yen the outlook of it ebia yen hwe no nyi kra ansana yakọ the UP.
Luckily last week and we're talking about public accounts committee na oral na non account, and I think the public accounts committee it falls part of oral because they are also recovering loot and ensuring accountability. No too. You see surcharging na as in more trying the ebia infraction bi aba wo hwe ejumezi bi ede nke wozi enzi iko bi aba wa mo ko schedule ede ikutua enkutua and what happens is that before the public accounts committee wo kada wo nkutua wa ka wo hon nobody follows up to ensure that we training na. And normally what people do in the ochebi to show commitment no way jankan or they go and negotiate they wanted to infim salary nebu man sikano sika pp what salary no wakada what to ifima ahin obeto into obeto negete so it might be spread over 15 years or 10 years. Nobody does follow up on it to ensure that this thing is done. But you see, one other aspect, I don't know how this specialized court is going to handle it. When you go before a committee, na a comma any source of information as to whether that information can become part of the processes to file against you, is another thing. Because you see, it's a fact-finding committee.
So we need to committee. We need to say assemblea fufra.
No, make up public account committee.
Public account committee. Okay.
You understand? Into asama make a public account committee. Would you use that? Because then if people come before public account committee, they would have to ask for legal counsel.
Oh no, but say public account committee make a lot, if not most of the references to the Auditor General report.
Yes,
which is a legal tender.
Yeah.
And it's the Auditor General reports, I indict to be whether it's misapplication of funds and a misappropriation of or any financial infractions. Is it not a legal tender enough? Say, me hold it against the person.
Yes, so they can use the Auditor General's report.
Yes.
But the fact that Auditor General's report sometimes or come up with some infractions does not make somebody culpable.
Okay.
Ebia yehudo when tia the mean pay and I would cheer the mean pay. I then would cheer. Does not make the mean a mere culpable. Ebia me a mere accountant, but the validation document have been me. I'm in the mutia.
Oh no.
Because I've seen the validation document.
And validation document be utia.
Once the validation documents have come before me, either to force an AD.
We procurement officer, for instance. Now, ABI, maybe she be kitten say we as a contender. Now, Obia Basse a so sourcing. Maybe as procurement officer, when I say we approve it, was a man who documenting quantum assign. When you know, say, as a contender and not two sources.
I think it's different. When you know that it's supposed to go to tender,
yes,
maybe I will tender, but the prices, are very, very huge.
In this case, inquiry.
No, so but the same. There, in this case, my accountant,
yes,
they submit validation list to me, and I pay. You understand? I won't be everywhere to know the impay we are no we. I can't be there everywhere unless I'm an accountant in Mazuma. Then probably I can raise certain questions. Okay. But even that, internal auditor no one or some of these query no connect because internal auditor is supposed to be able to check in these things. So, but what I'm saying is that sometimes at the public account committee, people are interrogated and they make certain pronouncements as to whether that can form part of the investigation or to whether a suit or a writ against the people. On America, I don't know how these specialized courts will be engaging. But everybody raise questions going forward how people will be appearing before public account committee. Because now, Mama area influence the public account committee, this 1 year warrior, on your NDs are building a worry. The review they are doing, or the NDs are breeding, then go free at the margin, or your 2024 reports. Into 2024 reporting, sometimes district chief executive no cry or kono. Ono oyemoshe about trade because you inherit assets and liabilities. Into about two loriyano. In terms of I will be sending question crown the who makes one can. Now I refer Amobi. In most of times so finance officers and engineers and I don't know when our transfer one. Immediately I been for banana wire transfers. You understand? Inti nipa not one Accra Accra sometimes cannot even defend some of the things that have happened. Inti sometimes when they seem not to show any sentiment towards it because it's not their time. I remember in there one of the reforms we should be making there. The people who take these decisions, most of them are alive. Why don't we hold them before the public accounts committee?
Anything is a very special court, and I'm sure they'll be held. And
even before that, because sometimes going through this public accounts committee or a public, people are watching it. Into papa kwats na one say be ototo papa do a obefia nhwekra wa ububu na yinchwa. You understand? And the fact that you know that you are going to public accounts committee, people are going to watch you. We will make you behave. In this hour, and I take some of these decisions. They're the validation officer for the Tamale teaching hospital. And I wanna the mother what will be 26 months. No so see. If those people, if they were the ones sitting there, no, we said I want kasa.
If the question is sir, Nikuna will suit for 26 months. Sir, validation officer no was science in no way.
Only na me bisan. There, such people should be made to be present at public account committee. Because when you are going through the shame and you go through it yourself, because sometimes specialized courts in BOA or any nana proceedings Robert de Gua. Inti my better time they be away, but some navy and other. But public accounts committee there, you engage every day mukwa. Yeah, should be. Inti, I think those processes should be added. But I think this is laudable. At least we've seen that a step is being taken beyond just public account committee addressing them and talking to them.
The president,
I think the president, no worry show you there. He was worried that over these years it's been the same thing. Then go for Babak's now wakaka. Adichana was so akwakoye. Now was so go for Babaka, and it looks like nobody follows up on these things. You know, the president is walking the talk by engage on. We're engaged on, and I'm seeing this. I hope that really the special court will come. And we will see we are recovering money because me pay the special court about now so I to the state, but we don't recover any money and people are not penalized to serve as a deterrent for others to do the same thing.
And because we know, would it be fair to say and I mean says a kahua Adana extend the and call public office holders at the plan of the state. So for instance, we have Wuntimi Casey granted say sanity. Oshe obiti say gift or wari kiti they 31.8 million cedis abon any ade no asibe mo no omo aka no adon ye emphasize cases ni nyina am because oshe documenter office of the special prosecutor or the babontia they are inundated with a lot of cases and then pay na me share news call one of the quarter former head of MP Mustafa Hamid they can't come raise it to about 54 count or so in Nigeria. What you say even if it takes them like 10 years so much even assembly aim it can for sense mean that specialized court. Now community sense mean dan say obi ebu o minor afaso na ye dey call the general court to be a court. It will take forever.
Nah, for me OSP I'm no big can answer me. I mean Shamsa said there OSP will be sent for Kenofrata docket once and
on farmer.
You understand? So I don't think it's about you are before the law court. It's not about before the law court and there's the wheels of justice is grinding slowly. No. Have you prepared your docket? Are you before the court? I've had cases to raise some issues against the Attorney General, even himself. There, I mean, cases CBI in June. It took you a long time. And found the legal vacation started August. September. Happily, I've seen that some of them are before the courts now. You know, I remember saying there, the Attorney General's office needs more hands. Because like you are saying, they are inundated with cases. And he needs more hands, more resources to be able to function and function well. I mean, that's my request to his office. But so now we make them request now. It means I am carrying more than the bereaved.
Because then on jam.
Yes. And I have not heard him asking for those things. And that is why for me I will hold him accountable. Yes, because but you see, on your day, it's not because I don't understand how these things work. Yet you come what in the court every blessed day. What is stopping you? If you say you have watertight evidence,
what stops you from going?
And I didn't come and tell that you have watertight evidence. You yourself, after investigations, came to tell us that you have watertight evidence. What is stopping you? What is stopping you? What is stopping you? It's in America there. Maybe what is stopping him is that he needs more hands. Then request for it.
Maybe we need some watertight evidence, like he said.
Exactly.
Because say me cry watertight evidence against Kwame Kwachi. Let me say this: we are watertight. What is stopping me from going? Especially when Ghana for be kasa. Look, economy ya dwene ho ba ya nyene so owra no ne ade no operation recover all loot no ne ade no sai crofo mentem no ne ade no.
It's sad. And you see, on American, most of these actions is to serve number one.
Oh.
No, to my year when there, Sika ye lose. Say public accounts committee, Sika ye lose every year, eh? So them scan ye wa. Inka schools be wa ye butu ye see. Inka hospitals be wa inka ye say we
street lights.
Inka so many things we would have done it. We would have done it. But because if you move after the miskana one way could in frame now you are being scanning I bet a project and also will introduce more taxes. Now I mean I will not scan ye be ending that's able to
non one faculty.
It's not fair.
Or this kind of crack to bank and your home for Sweden. There's a play bag game who to meet you 60%. So 70%.
It's not fair. It is dark.
More than that.
You know, so no to I mean my saying a president on what can you talk? Then I say do wa my won Kenya there we champagne for na Juma will be busy. I'm a marker there. We will support the president to win the challenges we have because now he has to test in parliament. Me him do be say sibio. We don't know tomorrow. We don't know tomorrow. And he's a president who will not necessarily come again to you for your vote. Certain decisions that he can take today will be bound to me yet. So everything that we think that let's support President Mahama to be able to do it.
That's right.
Because if he fails, then the state has failed. We will never recover.
Very well. So live on Accra100.5FM, ubetimi adwene na unso. What should I wadwene? Yasum Ghana na yebesum Ghana sompa yeboa ama Ghana afa ne ntoma pa efra. Okay, me quickly, me name Emmanuel Wilson Jr. I mean, we know him as Chief Crusader against corruption. Any Nkomo Kakra Efa Krata Mekai Emamu near Ira Felix Kwachi Fusu Epostu ye say afe Ibabrenya specialized courts na wonua amfa kwampaso ebu Ghana faso no ye no omedi binim senior omogin semi Mira ye mo hamu akwaba
ya minya
na me pacho empombo ko de
nyame adom ne mo mpaibo me hoye gidi se mo so mo hoye
Yehowa dom ne di kan yensa so yemfa ne krata but post bi a ye ura Felix Kwachi ofosu odi to ne social media wo efa meeting ye omampanin any attorney general ne chief justice any penyufo bi aka ehia ye fa say afi no okwan e betimi afa so na omo mafa kwan bone so wo hwe auditor general report in fact public account committee revelations be pre abano omampanin me yeti asese ne bonyo so or do you say ayo you say yenya sa specialized course no na ebi mo hokrampo a yen search agewom ebi mo hono so a wo mo mafom no na emra enomedi ana ye bob mo bi say as chief crusader against corruption saying and now just sense me
well me that say did come aminka say a welcoming news one of the things ya bon who do over the past period in fact all quite archive more I think prior to the elections 2024 general elections Crusaders Against Corruption Ghana say one of the things in fighting corruption and expedite the fight against corruption has to do say a special court. So they all call other places your specialized court into your land court. Ghana cry your land court. Other places your courts are almost taking care of just trade. Specific court. Eboa Emma Niema Echo in Temtem. And when you know your advocacy say one of the things that you beat me I be my fight to corruption. And it's a be build and a be instituted a friend special court. Special court in the Juma and say a be fight to corruption. Indeed, so share issues are ever out from the Auditor General's report. When you're the first time, it is like every year, the Auditor General report betoja yet and same year. Ehun de okosi. The chairman sunu mukrani says that Oshe and now Uduweni AD Public Accounts Committee Omu Ejuma Omu ya over the past years no consistently the Omu ya say Omu expose corruption any Niema enchaye in terms of state institutions, almost governance system nearly. Into this particular one, it is really no difference. But they are lucky over the past years. You say you be move from just exposing to ensuring. Say, one, you be retrieve your sikaniade. Not two, you be put up structures and be prevent such things from occurring. Yamincha they already train me. Suggested say the not prevention but retrieving parts no and no anamona omampini etui a laudable a beboy yina ye him say apart from say ye move to the stage of retrieving no ye be cry move further to a state ye bit me put to the governance structures no in its appropriate position so that some of these things no will not repeat itself in the near future. Like him saying, the next Auditor General's report about Betujana this year, because they are you put two structures in place into the next Auditor General's report about Betujana, the next Public Accounts Committee on Bayo Mujumana, in Kayen who Taniema Ekosi, and none a better say Empire fighting corruption. But truthfully, this one a step in the right direction, even though that is not the end. But a means to an end.
And we know to what extent, and I also say, Jumedi potting and a trimupa, or man penny, a walk far, kita shene proye equono, a bit to me every player. Because, of course, there are a lot of cases, for instance, we have a lot of courts. What role necessarily will a special court play rather than sending other courts no serving, and yet we have a lot of hanging cases related to corruption?
The only thing I mean who say be different. Yes, say a best expedite nema. And you say issue about corruption a cohorma because almost time say yeah fighting corruption. You're limited to just issues bordering on corruption. A bema nema ako in minimum and a beko fast. Apart from that, the bit to me aye. And yes, sir, we will end up having, just like you said, like say the union or other courts me now. So it bit to me, knowing say we a specialized court no. You're making sure say judges are you be assign me to those courts no. Judges are you would deal with mumu. Say almost bit to me abwa amaya fight corruption. Because and yes, sir, and I say it's just a general judges. Say the judges are you more other courts in and I call specialized courts in India. Then the only benefit I bring is say cases never go fast, but to whether cases no will end in helping us fight corruption and no be a different thing because judges in Kofa they may be the same judges or the other existing courts. Yen shishim nipa huejuma nipa ne kwa court na ho court enya osra abofo but at least share the pool of judges are you bet to me identify say judge way, any judge way, a ban of integrity at least you bet to me account on omo. And until you select omo as special judges. Na empono you select omo you making sure that you be more special name there in terms of identifying and fighting corruption. It's not just about applying the law. But identifying and fighting corruption, as you say to me, identify me training omo. Now you who say, look, we're a special court, and you don't call because also we're a special person. So we're a special person there, and you will give you who say, ube to me aye nearma et say oyeno. So say a be any sign there, say the kind. The only benefit that you bring out from this special court will be say cases never content them, but the fact that case are contempt doesn't necessarily mean say we are making progress.
Very well. Mamenda was say, unsem no hwam yemfensia. Mishrapa, emrepem ihnya we besia bo akachi. Ebra Emmanuel Wilson Jr., a chief crusader against corruption and you know education komo. So won't say asem nyina say imprint asem abetodwa no. nyina ne sɛ ɔmanpanin His Excellency John Dramani Mahama show commitment towards the fight against corruption. Obekaya obeka say ne ho hia say abrene no yes we have first auditor general report wo hwa ache say ha no nti no nkusi da bena de bia ye beka sensem no ne ye egu na one attorney general ne chief justice shia say omu nyina mra ba kurum anti ase apam ne kwakọ wie say si aye ba be special court as enkrofo ni nyina ye no omu ba befa so one way ka say search charge o be search charge o one more a kasi incarcerate room ye be incarcerate room nti we there Mr. President ayade na momi empren we very well. We've just been joined by Honorable John Afo, Head of Communications, Emma Responsible Cooperative Mining, and Skill Development Program, RSCONDEM. Me the sana mechanize simple. Responsible, and I mean Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program. Very well. Kasama for penny adjoining. Open you say you are kwaba. Yakopo ado. And that we there just we bet we to answer. And sana masai akọ council hono. Yeah. Council say me gene kakra kakra. In your case no abo amiti. Yeah. If I minim say unim yeah so your mouth topics not ready. So
yeah. Topics you know there I'm say me sure but I'm prepared for
very well. Yeah. Very well. Okay, so this issue, you can wait till the Ashas here.
Yeah, about President Mahama and Amuntu power with two. Yeah, I'm saying of a depa because when you say Ghana Hano, especially when we share Parliament to what, or more they on from the public account.
Okay,
committee de biano, conform with Disika, and I'm Omushi on Nomunio Mudinko. Now the CBR Auditor General report be a babyano. Now. Abaye twe mi sike die pasa nkwa no mudi ye mfomu ye bia be ye ya auditor audit report ni bia parliament national mo kasa bia entumi nkwa ni bia ento hwe na sen ya municipal chief executive se ne district executive so mu ye ya mutina public account committee so ene local government committee so be hwe ya honorable Sofia Pokuwa na oye committee chair lady ha o hwe nkofo beble didi sika
Poku asoya
Aguna West yeah won nkofo beble sika ye hu me bia this kind of auditor general so audit ya o say nkofo ne disika ye tena sika no bobobobobo na ye twem no ye ko enti anamuntu apredama ma etu no say si an obeti special court be delay in those cases na be hwe de nkomodie so ne corrupt anti-crusader man so apart from court na betin so they will set charge.
That's right.
We are talking about kaya domodobo sa we na all year under the previous administration obenya asem time pa osofo mafo any okufo ne gadboche da kumbe time na omo lock in the officer went to me anyi na adwuma fa kwan bi so kwan bone bi so de ne court obehwe Supreme Court immediately you ni for say any age wa pound because now all in time to dig onto their corrupt practices it is on my penny ono so say no he will fight corruption because one of the major problems in this country is say corruption nya wo hwe ye kwan wo hwe ye hospitals wo hwe ye roads na ade a ye nya sika mfanye ye so ane akọ amana no so ye kwa kaji sika say sika no ye kaji no so wo hwe anso a sika enka auditor general audit no wo hwe so no be hwe na sika no ye di na na say akọ no akasho bi botum na so cry change sika ye kwa kaji for example wo hwe IMF 3 billion ya ba omiaka say we never go to IMF former men kind ebusuafo ya former deputy finance minister Ekabi finance minister nkasa so kebi ande wadwane ya isi yehu bi owe omunya akeka kotu bible ni ade all day no dey ni see we went to IMF ye call ya no afide omuno they are apologizing oti ase enti se president per se NDC ameka ho se per se subsidy na ye nya score card ema Ghana for 2028 na chese say we to me fight corruption because one of the major points and as a major reasons are Ghana for to my NDC say you will fight corruption and so we have to have a score card
operation recover all
because we are being Ghana for everyone say I don't know ye any comfort trans say their way why no obi mu say ye tua 70%, obi mu say ye tua 80%. Omu tua kwa na e say omu kode fiase.
But no crampo, let's educate Ghana for who say enye NDC aban.
Yeah.
And a beshi shemra. Semra ye mra na kufu adum ehye eto ho.
Yeah.
So mu ehunu say o ma wi e betwo mu ntie ne yen hye. Omo ba ya se atua ana yan so ye ba ye o ma betum. The politician.
Because the say no, sika no pa ko no do court and no do prison. I don't know they no court no to me dim be 4 years, 8 years. Onya judge bia is against your way now, government way now. O to me twitwi mu 4 years.
So can you imagine sank nya court bi sa? Na in the case of ABOB where we are we used to play bargain. Yes, okay. $1 million. Near say charge you interest.
Yeah.
What we are yes, and come 10 years. About the service 6 months.
6 months. It's all I say. Yeah, do until has a bear at a dasidi amanko. People yeah.
On criminal grounds.
Because we share China. Not share Japan idea. Corruption on me idea we dey grow on crowd. Yet to me I say who come to me wait to me who call firing squad. But over Africa among food we share other countries are. We share Cameroon president so 90 years as also beside the contest. Pobia corruption. Oh, enti media I welcome news for every Ghanaian citizen for this
me patro me wahanum because and senate lawyer be siamba mu no. Aya me tanya ko be be atinti no. Aya obi adwene say obetimanya information.
Yeah.
This responsible cooperative mining no.
Yeah.
I'm sure say we'll have a better than I can one but me person say ho kakra e ma me.
Yeah.
Aha, what is it about?
Yeah.
Because obi frame me beside me say and you tria say you see committee bi wo honum committee ben na ye form me you be levy he for na be so community man na be ahemfo ne dia you see sponsors wo mo so domos sika ba be shame and then already government chefa is saying complete tax na moji royalties kwa himfi like you person atiase say bi a me wo masase metimi dia ba be ye and I say community base but you bit me explain them
our cause
master things one mama ye hu be register okay
yeah started but you start say you issue license for now
but we can start
we are a lot of engagement visitation on site
very well
me no ka say Adam was na new mon na dey I know manya nkata no far advance enche
okay
yeah but because of maybe into no me friend
but you ho say yes mo ba na mo ni bibi because e ho no ye kibi go field
yeah
and ye yo achim ho side no see no nti e ho so no ye best say mo no mo so me din komo man na yenso communities me maybe lead this crusade nanka
me person me kono no our cause of ni na say o sha ye fafi community mining skills CSM I refer by National Alternative Livelihood Empowerment Program for small scale miners NALEP under the previous administration community mining skills community National Alternative Employment Program na nipa bako is under community mining under the previous administration nipa bako to meji asase bako be asase be 6
or the community diato so
this total suspect for the indigenous in the community and I say the district no omumbu ahemfo omumbu opinion leaders with the indigenous of the land tijani for no omumbu omo ahemfo omumbu bia okwa no waji in the name no one political no waji na also here come no sense ase no onya reclamation onya hwe enti under the leadership of His Excellency John Ramham I say here call elections no 2024 you can say ba all the small scale miners for nya na be bo man for me cooperatives.
That's right.
Enti ono na ye dey to me share honorable Kofi Amaboa
fantastic
say no what na steady we na no say no the NALEP is not helping the communities there's no development there's no progress they say total destruction of our lands our water bodies is being destroyed you see foreigners coming in even getting the locals to sponsor them buying excavators for them in this idea and I don't know the community in Yamfashobia and also says idea why don't we implement this change the community mining the NALEP into a responsible cooperative mining skills and development program and to show our cause the mining sector and your skills and so sector okay won't say mining communities and you'll be an person mining
that's right
ebi mo ho a omunya ya komunye It is uncle for
Obu nya a hairdresser. Obu nya
obey fitani ade. It is a mining no side one. Or no you say we are changing from the irresponsible mining to responsible mining.
Okay.
And then yeah almost I won't say your alluvial mining. Obi wo ha san bi obi wo to be kaji license say okay yeah prospecting lines mining and I say be reconnaissance. Now individuals no small scale mining, so it's not meant for foreigners. It's meant for the Ghanaian indigenes. Any foreigner be and say small scale mining, but under the previous administration, they were giving licenses to foreigners. So honorable Amakofu
to do small scale
mining,
which is a reserve for the
locals. And you know, your banner, Honorable Kofi Amabo said, Dabi, what we have to do is say, I see it to me, translating the NALEP into our custom. Yeah. The locals in the community, no, ever benefited the mining now more the chiefs and the opinion leaders and the journeys of the land, you know, any community, you know, in terms of development, about schools. Hospitals, ensure ada development na do be at work na so ye too good ha I don't know no to say improve to so ye eba ye wiem so a ahemfo na yemfa buo mu homo no any community na yemfa buo so na obi fi Accra no aba oba okọ efuomu a even cocoa farm okọ Hasi mikra mineral commission for license. Yes, in prospecting. In the name of prospecting, so no idea so too good.
In fact, me will case be one more. If we are basing a different community, my catcher 9 was 4.
Yeah.
A year Asante Achem South. MC ni kwani minya problem by my mind because the Bebo Magana.
Yeah.
A year 1 Sukuru Investment. That's the name of the company. I have verified with Minerals Commission.
Yeah.
Yeah, my license be Bam said 2012 no prospecting license. It was 2014. And a Minerals Commission catch and say, I'm so renew. Well, renew and forfeit that.
Yeah.
And I'm so called renew. You know, they are a crass one. Say, yeah, more license. Me no can say. You tell a man so much as air mine. My catch that Ghana phobia so into Majaka. But my place is in Ponwa. Empatem home.
But is a new CEO for Minerals Commission. They will take. Now, my honorable minister, so Mama Mausi, the communication director.
Now, Mausi is on him.
And they say you're born to Jana.
My catch wrong when you know, my friend, the Lacrao, the led the Minerals Commission PR. My friend was I'm a catch Bisaka.
This week,
we must go and arrest them.
It is not
because guy, they say, as I'm not there, Mintel, I'm picking this almost say when I'm there by Eno. Omuni some best stop you or beboka because high machines into matters were offer 2 extra excavators say within 2-3 weeks or 2 new benya be and this what they are telling
wow me one
and question for the go
prospecting license also nya idea so the excavator kwa assassin
ya no he akasa am he so dey oni mo ho no ma no dey krata ba so be ye kwan am na ya mo school
sa dey na ekoso no
ade am so da swamp area nya su river one no na ekoso
you see. And today, when I hear
my can't want some sir.
And you know where the me am behind there, I'll take it upon myself. Me share minister, maybe far to Musuna yet to me. And you know, these are some of the issues, major problems are Ghana for AFC. On your prospecting line, sir. Instead of going there with Sosone, Sophie, idea to just to go and test the land and see, say, we're not the excavator call in the name of doing prospecting. No sense, I say no. On your reclamation, on your real for on your BBA, and assassinate the whole. Now, assassinate say, a former minister, Samuel Bujinapo, under the previous administration, wound to me.
Okay.
Doesn't even have the license to
Akonta
mining. Total destruction of our forest.
Yeah.
And that no can say 288.
I think Akonta's mining license was prospecting.
Yeah.
But no,
they didn't have a license to enter into the Newman forest.
Even no recognizance license.
No, they didn't have license. That's what.
Can you imagine?
They didn't have license. And they just enter into the forest and destroy it. And I'm not say 44 out of 288 total destruction in our forest. I say, Christ, you should not idea. Into offer, I don't know, no, Sadia, you be if it's alluvial mining, near hard rock mining. Into you be boa, a band say, Bia, I Osuno Horsey, your bar, and conform they are already into the mining. And you know, we are not against the mining, but against the activities no more. You're not destroying shoe no, any forest. Now then they say no. Let's move from the irresponsible mining into a responsible mining. Let's form a cooperative.
Okay.
More 20 na more ensasino.
Okay.
You have your leaders. Sometimes one of the major problems is say plotting sasina. Now Kotobi concession, one of the large scale concession. We want to okay prospecting license now there. And you know, mineral commission there and conquer license.
Okay.
It was my body too. Na me tu na me
when say that last scale for no.
And last scale call nya license no. And even to get the license no, the process will be fame something take years. The money that you spend, we be come back no do the till end no. Now they all start documents as you. And just say move for me cooperative. Government will support you.
But cooperative no say bia oba achim osino o de no.
Yeah.
Maybe more concessions no ye 10.
Yeah.
Are you saying say ye 10 no na say back together?
Move back together.
Okay, to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
More for me a cool back. Now be a muye mojuma hono. Aban much my mojuma no through the Minerals Commission.
Oh, the same place, but maybe in same shoe.
Maybe in same shoe.
Okay.
You see ano the thing is 100 meters away from the river body.
Tell the and the woman, but most
yes, sana in 150 meters. Cra.
Sana be 1 kilometer. No, minister said 1 kilometer or something.
Yeah.
No, 150 meters this one. Then it's still.
Yeah,
I think he said 1 kilometer. Yeah.
What I say, Anna, in show channels, they say no hard rock.
Okay.
What I say, rock mining. And you want to me and say, in Sasson, no, before so be move with you one. Join to another, no, you have to make sure that you reclaim the land. And you know, you are not against their, but the activities no more almost saying no, and you say regulate. Now, to good no responsibly, send a bear community no so I don't know, community no the chiefs and the people in the community no. More cooperative, munya for example, 80% will go to the cooperative.
Okay.
Now 20% will go to the community for development.
And only cooperative, sponsors in the community in share.
That's what we are trying to.
Okay, for now, no money cut a year.
You know, 20% or a percentage will go to the community.
That's a minkwa me wa masase.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So na me to that. Now me person me sponsor. Say sponsors me na miska beba.
There will be sponsors.
That community be ahim for no ewom. We ewom a. And no, I just said, many be kaboom.
Because individual, I know say utua.
Okay.
I'm brand crown why so utumi to then you go to Mineral Commission. No, I can get a license. But
no, I'm talking about cooperative.
Cooperative, no, I say we
more than one sponsor.
One sponsor. I say we more than one cool. Then you get a sponsor. Until I will say, we are open so financier. Our sponsor cool. No.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because a woman to need the requisite equipment or the funds to do the way, and so they go and rent. Sometimes rent excavators to destroy the land. And when you have a sponsor who is sponsoring way now, or no more government is there, government is regulating, is protecting. Or should I say, in Brana there are more here. There's an M&E monitoring and evaluation department in the Mineral Commission, and then outcrops the poor. Who call EPA and so there's a monitoring team. All the water commission, ne unya beshe say. The embrana share to one on na moya na mudi mbrana so na mudi mbrana so dia na mo ye se na be ya na mo so na bi water gas form bam ham.
The committee in composition no ma dwene ho.
Yeah, it can be 50. Yeah, it can be 15, it can be 20. It can be 10.
Ahimfo no na be boy decide.
Yeah, through the ahimfo the community as soon as say bar we have an engagement with the community. Ahimfo no the municipal chief executive or the district chief executive, the Mineral Commission representative there, the water commission there, the water commission, the EPA, all relevant bodies are here. Fata say get involved in the execution of the mining and right across the kwa mo keshia no mu nyankata mudie ni community no nyankata mudie ahemfo no ti ade na se ebisa omo how because uko bibia esun bia how
and you be frame o no nche
muko we ko be dance ye call Savannah region we call upper east call upper west no na esun bia how omo how no major problem no facing say when they plot their concession omo bigger concession and some of them you call osino say me I am nadmu say every year be omo calendar war mo talk about disaster so we use that one to meet the small scale miners almost say no. Even crown on much percentage Emma last scale man whether it's a black hack.
Okay.
Much percentage man. As you see almost shouldn't work. Into one tears here. nti eba no sana they need to write to us the secretariat na national coordinator which is Ignitia Frank Asari aka Pedro Esquire and
Pedro Krabam say
yeah and George Darcy which is our national operations director.
Okay.
Nti ye ba beba ho ni ayemfure benyan katahudi and ye fi ho a ye dey sampa bejam.
Great.
And you know we are moving from the community mining into a cooperative mining where government is going to regulate and ensure that we move from irresponsible mining to responsible.
Yes, say komo na aka no ye ba be doc. I beg your pardon, lawyer. Me say mountain na ye hear the other topics no UP ni the current NPP state now.
In fact, I mean, if you the Nimpa Kunoka can I the MPP per the what the EP court. That is even dead before thought. Answer na bodwin I didn't wewu. You see, Political Parties Act were clear on what you can do to form a political party. Say Washington within political party no in the within year Ghana political party. You understand? Because the manager the man Ghana na yafa. Until you can once your name and your colors and therefore political party behind the colors here red, gold, green with a black star. It's wrong. Aside that, no, or if is here or another registered political party is in fact, World Campa and NDP should have not been allowed to register because before NDP, there was NDC.
Yes,
and the colors of NDP, kosha, what the NDC were colors.
And it's not allowed. Two political parties.
You understand?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, say political party needs and our nations is and our colors. And all year da all another political party all nizi. They know too. Under the 1992 Republic. Or the Fourth Republic, or from 1992 to now. If a political party organ of an UP. Now UP we on your 64 so which people?
So be an honey soon. Some of them be a UP tradition. And Osha almost first soon.
I'm there. I grew a year and maybe more, you know. And I think that why am I going to be them paying fast? If they really go on this tangent, it will be another confirmation that painful in party because the whole actions you people will launch your beer and can the major thing and go for Kawasam is the fact that NPP is threatening to take them on a one more UP platform. Everywhere they are being discussed. I mean, sometimes I don't know who strategically who informs them. Pata manga samuyer. Muya dindin muya malaria. Esuma fanado yeti pekeke na moro fa paracetamol. Nti wontu muntu yaba na ase. You are still struggling. Mark for the 5 sinners. As boy of when and a most of got to up or the Abam make is boy you may be doing him. And I pay your sister station class. Obi Bakade Yam Pure Bia or the book and our theory. Accra100.5FM. Auditory, no ye practical. No shame be there obey toilet. Now I'm on mobile phones.
You're thinking.
You want people who are practical, who understand the everyday Ghanaian need. I mean, I know to some of us, you catch a banner door, they've lost touch with the ordinary Ghanaian. Unfortunately, if especially those from Dr. Baumia's camp, and a PLB can be there, well, the only two reasons why they lost the election, apathy and propaganda by the NDC. I'm saying, you've not been able to diagnose Yerba Nayan. It didn't mean some Yerba. Because they still don't understand why they lost the election. Na didi pina kwaye na yanko kwafo na mbrewofo wa picket wa finance ministry no. Is a propaganda. And apathy within your party. When you were using Ghana Sika, is it don't or your apathy in your party or a propaganda? Ghana for one another ho. When in Kwafuri ye war private programmer in Bebunu Boku Rawa there, war party is not being represented. Ghana for ye who? Man, the Musora more temerity kade there is culture of silence. Hey. And no to no bonibi wa mi dem go fubi ezi Ghana ho. But internally wa na wo maye hu de sana dam ban wa na hu ezi.
Chisham ho.
Tana mekan se mo yaz bonye food enuma. Na az bonye yi bia kru bia kita not less than 10 cents.
Sense no so. Bonye is sense.
Yes sir. I think that if they have enough time on their hands, they should be looking for Yerabana or Yeranawa, but not UP. Because, like I said, they've given them mileage. But those comments, Rabbi Sumati be so there was a UP will not survive beyond Yerana and Chamati.
Yeah. I don't know, Palgrave,
yeah, it was a Palgrave.
Yeah.
Well, we live to see.
That's how I can say butterfly in 2 weeks.
Me, my only comment to UP for you there, and I've already extended an olive branch to them. That GCPP, easy. We have been the rallying point for people in the minority political parties to come together. You know, too. If there was any time I Ghana full social alternative or yende, because the so-called biggest minority political party, why are they in Queen's Road? Say yes, upon their war pair, I'm on your foot in the majority and in the minority. Now, from Kofebia, I will object to it. That the people who are there to represent the minority cannot represent our views. Because they are empty. Wankasa wonye today na wotum adwen oman no ye. Opposition we dwuma ye there. Everything government does is wrong and everything you think is right. That is not the work of opposition. You have to support government to win against certain things. If the opposition is win the power, a lesser for you. Because in a abeyi or we are not paying our debt. We knew then what they were to, and when don't we knew it. A country that cannot even go to the Eurobond, we could not even access the market. Mama ban na we jo man from mama mukwa wo mamu double emumuru kwan bad na moye. In the power sector, mobile complaining about excess power capacity.
Mr. John Muhammad Jamwa Manabroso.
Mumuru kwan maina mudijai. Etwa renewable gas mo bay na fu. So I sometimes sit down and think that so if this is how these people want to behave, then they don't represent us. I'll call on my brothers in the UP, my brothers and sisters in the UP. Woma yen work together. Na yen become the alternative that Ghana needs and Ghana wants. And oh yes, why not?
I think some of the
you see
the who will lead no problem.
And that's what I've told them there. You see, we should not be starting those conversations a year to elections.
Number two, the conversation is whose tradition should die. It's not like you say they're a new name.
No, two. Chem, apart from GCPP.
Yeah.
If a party no kind of war tradition. Any of the minority political parties. What kind of tradition are you talking about? And most of it, oh yeah, there is even a convergence. Me catch Friday, your Babana Sama was on Kesben TV, and I was called in on Zoom, and I said it in his presence that most of the things GTP, some year than like talking years ago. You understand? So I see convergence. By your coordinator 2 years more, these two people will always enter us. Maybe in there. It's not about tradition. It's about a common goal.
It makes sense.
Most Ghana first. We also believe in Ghana first. So it's a common goal that we want to achieve. And when people see that these people are together, they are fighting for a common goal. Or why dream about the empire in a young Ghana who know but not our political interest. It's not our partisan interest. We are thinking about Ghana. And Makade, this is the only time if we want to think about Ghana we can succeed. Because we have a president who has to do tests in parliament. We have a president who has seen it before and has come back again. And knows the rot in the system. Into the way to Anaman about this public account committee. So he understands the system and is somebody there say we want to think with you. We want to support you to succeed, and we are going to work with you to succeed. If you're not I think we can get somewhere. But if they don't do that, then sustaining it over a certain period will be difficult because any party that comes fresh, I know that they will do very well in 2028 elections. But being able to sustain it is very crucial.
Very well.
And I hope that they will listen to my call. Let's start talking now. Let's start sitting down now and making the practical steps. I mean, as General Secretary Mayebi, in the past election, CPP for parliamentary candidate, I went campaigning for them because all the minority political parties, and baby and parliamentary candidate. Where I don't have a parliamentary candidate and a sister minority political party has a parliamentary candidate, I will support that. And I did that in Accra. I did that in several places on record. So I am ready as a general secretary of GCPP to bring GCPP along in any move that will look forward to supporting Ghana to succeed.
Great feat. Great idea. Maybe, sorry, you have to do like 4 minutes.
Maybe say lawyer can MPP for no omunshi hade. Na omunya found so say entrance dream say a dear na Ghana for because we 2016 where the Gaba omulitri NDC almost 1 million. Omokache say a BC that unprecedented na omudi ye hu fel ne ade 2020 and a close to gap from 1 million to 500 ono kwa no be hwe he see che or oboaba no so 7 good times and san o tumi declare say Akufo-Addo your president 2024 hwe gaba ya da twom this is the time I saw more trans say no your party no former na den echo de ne ye ya Ghana for odom wo de maye no omo etwi ekwa omo yi sa do no efi ho. Is it from the leadership? Is it from our attitude? Is it from the way we run this party? The requirement be fast so I bet me just I do na Ghana for or do no de maye no omo tumi de amaye be ko 4 time omo trans dream sir me de me won say the leadership of MPP no they have a major problem And if MPP does not learn and make sure say in parliament don't be leadership in the now must leadership at the party level, they will continue to decline. Because Nancy Amiti, one of their flag bearer back home, I say, what or no, say Yamutu about 31st January 2028, you know, he will not accept defeat. Oh, now who accepted defeat? Say, Shagaba, Yachumu over 2 million. Now who accepted defeat? Now
I accepted defeat. I use electoral commission.
What shall President for time? His Excellency Yankopon from the currency, J. Mills, he accepted defeat even before the EC chair came to declare. And this is a idea daho, a such a wow coalition team. That's what Musa Abano Kugo na Udia, Utumisa. Now, once you have to do now, see you tinting in a mayor. We have all promised Ghana for some genius second. Oba say 2016 Oba power. Or say, oh, every village be a may damn war. Was it every constituency made $1 million back home? These are the promises that you made. Ghana for 10 who say major promises are yeah. When this so, who can Ghana for say I am there. I idea won't for Ghana and Kohoda. Now over the J2 road so now they develop Ghana. I don't know. Kapudu our boy yang get fun. What the Kajawa? Ye Koko. What the Kajawa? Ye Esla. What the Kajawa? Ninya so to unya found a receiver say when ma ufi sa line out di so no when ya abrabo fufuro bi magana for oh MPP nya section fufuro bi o mu say si anu ye mo akonya so mo mbra mo betumi adan enya ade ahobrase ebu still the arrogance is still in them. MPP is still portraying arrogance. They believe that they are still in power. And look at the way they even talk. They are minority leader. Now see how okay now Winiba NDC for Omo Mko for Juma na work up ebekoi ya the MPP from Kwana Ebeko. They are not giving their minia.
No insight.
As a leader, as a minority leader in parliament, is that the way you talk? Now okay say somewhere in February, March, or can say Winiba no go area for NDC.
Now this year, me.
And the message, media, media meeting baby. Me bomb pie say, and question yes, so ne beya, and NDC bedding, but NDC in a strong opposition. So ne ye cobon on which me at until we are praying say they should forget about UP. No, Alan Chamazanya de Osaba. They are GSA canon. They are rather giving them because me kanya so no mu and can I mean say there is a party called UP. Because Mati say so mo usuni other people can say oh they are new party here but me party but I don't Mati. They should stop what they are doing focus on rebuilding their party and that will help them.
All right, Mr. Afome that's papa. What baby
o dia mind because you be doing come pa
you be doing come
Ghana ya good
in fact measure that my invite up na ya share that for so hold
na Ghana na you too no
yeah
say you too no responsibly
yeah
na dey boy ka say na say a good board for your press conference you good as small scale kwase kapudu a ye nya wo no dey be boa yeah man
you remember on at good time thank you so much
honorable minister so honorable Amakofi Boa
okay
and then national coordinator
okay what's the general secretary GCPP and so can fast like I say ma senate patrol pe ubrechi kwan ehye papa se ne be ya dachi bia senate for betimi aboa sire wa hwemachiri kwan na nso pe dachi fa pipa MTN ya do mas papa the more you keep on using momo the more ana wunya sikapudu egu account bills microcredit 7 country say honmo and pebisia we no susu fa Ghana card bra na yenko yenimo ye kam so say luckiest jumedie no ekoso but your ticket will betimi ya to be from 1 cedi to a year 5,000 Ghana cedis on Brasia Council ubetimi atubi no win o Ghana ubetimi yusu umumu wa outside so ubetimi yusu ka 2074 mixture enso ya dia ye kama pa dru papa pa say ya do bebre misro ye kanfo tontena enso ama ene every up to date estate construction say menka wo say ubetimi ababeje wasase 30,000 in some cases 26,000 which are outright it me ma 6 months na ascend the pie wi afi what asase no kwesi say obi wi bibia nso ye betimi aboa ko so be si odan nti ene every you can form a village herbs clinic. Hodem do biako, untimi fire den ko and san slow. If you village herbs clinic for actually quine. Na omonya adwumane yie ma na se bro nya ready well say Ginny rice and EDD 4.2 kilogram bag and one me kwakoto because ota we are locking na scratching here unya smart TV gas cooker and a face washing machine in fridge na me the all expense paid trip to Dubai no and okra ana me twen ye come say pink October we go so Friday 24 October class media group 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. the breast cancer awareness jumadi na so na Friday 31st October 2025 Kaneshi market and so hona yeko outside broker 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Ayana machine so my finally Go TV I don't know be you so a brand here na Go TV any feed and na minim kwa mkwachi say we guy wa crab bia Go TV and one you so DJ guess in kakra kranti ma yen kan for ma ene ewie me din na no to da kwa mkwachi producer one Ima thank you so much for the production nyame yadomu a ochena besi share stay on
Medasi bebre ye bedi kan